Robert Bricky just returning to applause from the Duke fans, but he was limping slightly as he left the Duke locker room. And Mike Krzyzewski's team leading 17-6. Bulsey underneath with the easiest bucket Seton Hall's had so far. Seton Hall only 2 for 11 from the field. Duke 5 for 13.
Good inside screening by Leitner and Ferry, trying to get something going down low.
Ramos with a hand on the ball, knocking it out of bounds. Ramos doesn't have the height of an NBA prospect, but I'll tell you what great bulk and the way he uses it. 255 pounds. He's an accounting major at Seton Hall. Very intelligent young man, a delight to talk to. Here is Ferry coming up with the jump shot over the top, using the glass, and he has now scored 10 points here in the first half. What you'd expect of the All-American.
Ramos with good position. We're just not getting the ball down in low to Ramos. They've got to get him in the offensive action.
Here is Morton looking for a seam, anything to get it on the inside. Ramos muscling his way in, and they have turned it over on a 3-second violation.
Smith returns to the lineup, replacing Brian Davis.
Smith returning, and Brian Davis sits down for the Blue Devils.
But the key problem right now for P.J. Carlesimo is to establish that inside attack with Ramos. He's coming off a game against UNLV where he did not play well, and they've got to get him in the offense early on before too many minutes go by.
Dropping it in on the inside, and there was a holding call going against Seton Hall, and that is the first on Bulsey.
You can see what the strategy defensively is by P.J. Carlesimo. Front Danny Ferry down and low and get weak side help. That time they got caught.
Billy, we get word from the Duke bench that Bricky did suffer the injury going in underneath the basket in that collision when he was off balance and fell. However, when he came down here, he was hit and it aggravated.
I got you. Well, he's wincing over there. I watched him when he came out. I mean, it doesn't look like he's ready to go back in, do any high flying.
Ferry off to a solid start. It's a 21-8 lead. Ramos drops it into Bulsey, and Leitner was there defensively. Gaze can't come away with anything. The battle continues underneath.
Oh, good hand.
And here comes Snyder in the middle, giving it back to Henderson. Followed by the Blue Devils.
And Brent, what made that play was Christian Leitner went to the floor at 6'10", and with those incredible soft hands of his, was able to get it out of the pack. Sensational play.
Both teams started slowly, but the Blue Devils found their game quicker. Now it's Gaze, and he continues to struggle. Smith hands to Leitner.
Gaze will normally hit that shot. Duke switched on that play, let him wide open from 3. See a double low now by Duke University. Ferry wanted that ball. He had Bulsey right on his hip.
Leitner steps out. Ramos there with him. Cross to Smith with good outside range for a big man. He buries the 3.
Percentage-wise, the best three-point shooter on the team, a guy who never even took three-point shots before this year.
P.J. Carlesimo will use another timeout. He's down 26-8.
We're not a company.
But outstanding people come to us every day.
People who want to make a contribution to a team and do work that really counts.
People eager to see new places, do the unusual, and find the unusual.
People who will become your friends for life. People just like you.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Navy.
The Air Force.
The Marines.
The Army.
We're the Armed Forces.
It's a great place to start.
McDonald's with over 70 million prizes. Enough for 1 out of 3 people to win. Delicious food prizes. A holiday and escape. $1 million. Get your game piece, win instantly, or collect letters to win.
S-C-R-A-B-B-L-E. Oh, come on. Play Scrabble at Big Easy.
By 6 o'clock Sunday evening, the contest was over. Europe's leading luxury car makers had asked America's luxury car owners a very simple question. Which car did they prefer driving? And in 8 important categories, they received a very simple answer. The new BMW 535i. Some would say it was no contest at all.
The showdown for the national title. Auburn battles Tennessee for the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Well, everything has gone Duke's way except the injury suffered by Bricky. Seton Hall just can't buy a hoop. 2 of 14, trailing 26-8. Time remaining here in the first half. And Ferry off to a solid start here. They punch it in low to Ramos, and he continues to miss. Comes back with an offensive rebound, score it, and we're going to put Ramos on the free throw line.
Brent, the key to their game, getting Ramos down in low. He's got that big, strong body. He comes up very well even on missed shots, as he did there, because of his good hands. See the play down inside. He misses the first, but watch how well he bounces to get that second one. Powerful hands inside, goes right back up, puts it in, has a chance for three-point play here.
We had a picture of Leitner returning because that was the 3rd foul picked up by Abdelnaby. So Abdelnaby seated on Coach K's bench right now. Ramos nails the three-pointer down, and it's a
good press, nobody open.
The press there, and they force the turnover. Walker brings his jump shot down.
They're not guarding the man throwing the ball in bounds, and that's why there was an extra defender.
The lead is 13. 5 quick points by the Hall. Looking for Leitner in deep, knocked away and out of bounds.
Here's the press. Nobody guarding Danny Ferry, who's throwing the ball in bounds. So there you have a safety man, who was Walker, normally would be Ferry's man. Obviously open there to play a little center field, make the interception.
Duke leads it, but it has not been easy on the inside here so far. That time, they were a little too tough defensively, and for Walker, his 2nd personal foul. Gay's playing with 1, Ramos with 1, Morton picked up 2 quick ones, Green with 1, Volsey and Cooper 1 apiece. So P.J. Carlissimo having some difficulty here with fouls, and that could mount up to big trouble in the second half.
Unfortunately for PJ, he is very deep at that position in terms of size. Same way in the case of Mike Krzyzewski on the other end. Abdelnaby sitting down with 3, but he's got some depth there.
PJ is one of 10 children, Billy. And I said, how many brothers and sisters are there, PJ? He said, hey, Brent, it's 6 and counting. I'm not sure how many are going to be in the stand. Green bringing it down on the inside against the taller Blue Devils, but Walker, a great offensive rebounder, could not put it away. Anderson across midcourt against that Pirate pressure. It's 27-13.
Boy, Duke really looking to pound that thing down inside with these overplays in the low post.
Leitner will send it back to Snyder. Snyder tries to set up his taller teammates. They force another turnover. Here comes Green. Gaze is on his right. He'll pull up with a jump shot. And now Seton Hall starting to loosen up.
What Danny Ferry is going to realize is that the weak side defense is going to eliminate that pass he's trying to throw, but he will be able to throw outside for a jumper.
No, that could be Morton's 3rd personal foul, and it is. That is a big one.
Brent, hard to believe. Morton against UNLV, and of course an outstanding score, only had 6 points. In the case of Ramos, he did not score against UNLV, and if you had said that before the Western Regional Final, you say no way Seton Hall wins the game. But in this particular game, they're not getting production out of Morton or Ramos again. Cooper in there.
Billy, if we think back to last Sunday when Georgetown scrambled back in that short period. It was that helter-skelter defense, that full-court pressure with Snyder now sitting down also, and Morton out because of 3 fouls. But you remember how the helter-skelter got the Hoyas back? The Blue Devils had some difficulty with it. So if Seton Hall is to get back in this one before the intermission, they've got 7 minutes. It's 28-15. They will need some turnovers.
Well, the way you get them is you got to score in the offensive end so you can set up your press. That's been their problem so far. They
Cooper
can't score.
wasn't even looking, but Gaze comes over and gets the errant pass.
Good pass.
And it's Walker coming up on Leitner, who is there, and the foul is against Leitner, his second.
Looked like a pretty good defensive play by Leitner. Had his hands straight up in the air. Mike Krzyzewski complaining about it a little bit as well. That defender does have that position he can establish.
For Seton Hall, number 52, Nick Katsikas.
Well, at the conclusion of this Final Four game, we'll select the Chevrolet Player of the Game, and in conjunction with the award, Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to both Seton Hall and Duke.
Brent Katsikas in the game now. PJ looking to see before this half ends if he can find somebody who can drill one from the perimeter.
It's number 52 right there.
Seton Hall, an excellent free throw shooting team, a little over 75%. He's going to give up something on the defensive end, though, with Katsikas.
They are perfect today, 7 of 7 against the Blue Devils.
Oh, Danny Ferry almost turned it over, looking to pass to Smith, who turned his head. Again, the double low stack by Duke.
Ramos half fronting Leitner on the inside. They couldn't punch it in. Ferry, who moves his game all around the perimeter, takes it down on the blocks, comes up with the jump shot. Buries it. He scored 17 points here in the first half. Duke leading at 31-17. So just when it appeared like the Hall might pull back into it, Duke extends its lead, and Gaze continues to miss outside. He is now 0 for 5 from the game.
And Leitner again with another strong rebound.
They turn it over on a sloppy pass.
Well, what really happened there, too, is that Walker was playing such great defense on Ferry. Ferry couldn't get in position to make the catch.
For Seton Hall, number 32.
Walker is slim from the waist down, but he's got a good upper body, and he must have a lot more strength, and he must be very wiry there because he moved Danny Ferry on that play.
Avent replaced Ramos. Green comes down on the inside, and he scored 6.
Nobody's handled Green yet with his speed.
As a man in motion.
You're going to see just great play here now. Avent gets caught up too high. Leitner gives the perfect target by holding that hand up high above his head. The pass right on the money. Very difficult to stop. Should we say, is Leitner for real at one of our tips before the game? We're going to put an exclamation point on that one.
Alonzo Mourning would say he's for real.
Alonzo's a fan. Quinn Snyder back in there now, but not on Green. He's got a better assignment with Gaze, not quite as quick.
Walker gets Ferry in the air, and he has scored 8. Well, they're going to need some points from Andrew Gaze. Still looking to get here in the scoring column for Seton Hall in the first half. Kubek trying to get around Gaze. Now pulls up the jump shot, knocked away from Katsikas. Henderson up over the back with his first personal foul. And we're in the 1-and-1, so Seton Hall will come down here and shoot a couple of free throws against Krzyzewski. Well, coming up next, it'll be that neighborhood war. Michigan against Illinois. 2 teams from the Big Ten.
Brent, you know, we talked about Mike Krzyzewski being to the Final Four 3 times. Here's that Michigan. Here's your band.
My guys have arrived.
They're going to send you a Christmas present, Brent. You're the guy that got him here. Way off the iron. But we talked about Mike Krzyzewski before bringing a team to the Final Four. You know, Bill Foster brought Duke to the Final Four, and then Vic Bubas on 3 occasions with great clubs came to the Final Four.
Henderson loses it and gets it back.
Henderson's got gaze on him. I believe he can beat him one-on-one.
Kubek lost the handle. Green's got it. And quickly Henderson is there, and he lets Green go for his 4th hoop of the first half.
Seems that every time they get in trouble, it gets in Ferry's hands.
Such a great passer for a big man. Always finds the open teammate. Snyder glides in, missing, and there was Ferry on the other side of the glass, but it is Snyder who gets it back. Throws it up.
Fouled on that play.
Snyder on the floor. It's Seton Hall's ball. So he paid a price for going in there.
He sure did. He threw that up and got fouled and laid on the floor. No call.
Smith returning.
33, John Smith. Replaces Greg Kubek.
And Ramos back on the floor for Carlesimo.
Big basket right here for Seton Hall, Brent. Get that thing down inside 10 points. Be a good comeback on their part.
Walker staying with it, and he is fouled. And now that's Leitner's 3rd personal foul. Abdel Nabi with 3rd. So there are some of those numbers starting to mount up against Duke, which would indicate that this one is a long way from over. When the big fellas down on the inside get into foul trouble, 34-23 is not much of a lead.
Brent, you know something else that's very apparent? With Bricky out of the lineup, Duke does not have another finisher on the offensive end to score. And it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing him, certainly not in the rest of this half. He still has that ice pack on. Duke has not been able to get that other guy to help Danny Ferry score any points.
When you've got senior leadership like Seton Hall has, and you can shoot free throws as well as they do, and you play half-court defense, that gives you a great opportunity to come back. And they have not missed a free throw here yet today. Now they go to that pressure against Duke, and they quickly call it off as Snyder brings it up. It's 34-25, time remaining in the first half. The crowd senses that there's still a long way to go. And the big man comes up, and he's fouled by Walker, and that is 3 on Walker against Ferry.
Battle of attrition here with fouls. You know, you mentioned Walker in the great free throw shooting. As a freshman, he made 31 straight. He broke that record this year by hitting 32 straight. So an excellent free throw shooter, but now he's going to sit, and that's really going to hurt PJ, because not only has he been doing a job on the offensive end, he's a very gifted low post defender.
.26-25, 3.5 minutes remaining. Gay is still looking for his first field goal. He has hit a couple of free throws. Now they switch off, giving them still a different look on defense. Up over the zone from the corner. A three-pointer by Green. It's 11 for the game. It's 36-28. The Hall is back in it.
That was a set play that time, using Ramos for Green to hide behind.
Ferry in low, goes to work. Short on the turnaround. Gaze with the rebound. Lead now to Green with that speed. Snyder awaits him. Green penetrates on the inside. They'll use Katsikas left-handed. He buries it. The three-point shot. Now it'll be a timeout, Duke. great crowd here at the Kingdome in Seattle. And Duke, which led by 18 points, has been on the short end of a 12-2 run by Seton Hall over the last 3 minutes. And the margin is down to 5.
Brent, one of the reasons for that, I mentioned Bricky out, not being able to finish offensively, and what has really been Duke's success in the NCAA regional so far, the tournament so far, is the fact that Henderson has picked up a lot of offensive slack. So it all wasn't left to Danny Ferry. When Duke gets in trouble, it seems that Ferry recognizes nobody else is scoring and maybe tries to do a little bit too much. So if you're Mike Krzyzewski, you've got to get somebody else putting some points on the board. And looking at the team he has on the floor right now, that guy looks like he has to be Henderson.
Mike Krzyzewski would love to get into Monday night's national championship game. The winner of this game will move on. And we'll play the winner of the second one here this afternoon between Illinois and Michigan.
Again, watch this deployment on the press. Nobody guarding the man taking the ball out of bounds.
And they get it back into Ferry's hands.
Dangerous strategy, but should work with Abdelnaby having about 6-8 inches over Green. Here's the man I think has to do some scoring is Henderson.
He's only 1 of 4 so far this afternoon. They try somebody else on Ferry. Abdelnaby is down on the inside, and Gaze comes over to help out that time.
See, Ferry's trying to do too much offensively. He's a great player who plays best when he just accepts a role.
Deflected again. It is brutal down on the inside to try and score an easy field goal against Seton Hall. Duke believed they had beaten the best defense in the Big East last week. They were in for a huge surprise, and they're getting it right now.
Well, you know, two of the great defensive teachers in the game are Bobby Knight from Indiana and, of course, Jerry Tarkanian from UNLV. And this Seton Hall club just took both of those teams right out of their offense. There's my man Henderson. Let's see if he does it.
Won't stay down, and Ramos off with the rebound, and here comes Green.
Good
Green looking
door.
Gaze. He's there.
Gaze gives a big smile to Green.
Now Duke has missed its last 8 shots.
See,
it's a 3-point game. It goes back over to Seton Hall. They could tie it this time with a 3-point play, and Danny Ferry looks up at that scoreboard.
Mike Krzyzewski looks down at that bench at Bricky, but Bricky can't go. He's in trouble.
Into Ramos. He'll stay with it. Lost the handle. He normally has terrific hands. Very soft. Lost it. And Snyder will bring it down. Ferry.
Basket by Danny Ferry.
21 points with Bricky watching. Suffered an injury on a spectacular collision in the early moments of the game. We'll get a chance to show you that again in the second half. Kicked away.
Good skip pass by Seton Hall with Katsikas out on one wing and Gaze on the other. Very difficult to pack yourself back in defensively because both fellas that can shoot that 3-pointer.
Kubek returning. Duke with only 3 field goals against this Seton Hall defense in the last 7.5 minutes. Green, one of the trio of the New York seniors who played at Riverside Church. Gaze coming up, and Snyder off with the long rebound.
Another thing that's good about Seton Hall, a well-coached club, they get back on defense from offense. Very difficult to get an easy break. Duke goes to a little 4 corners. Going to take the last shot here. They're going to have, what, they got about a 6-second differential, so they do have to give up the ball. And I think a wise play by Seton Hall not to go out and make a foolish play defensively. Down to 10 seconds. They got to get moving. Quinn Snyder doesn't realize it.
He was looking at the game clock. Henderson with a miss. Ramos has got it. They've got 5 seconds. Quickly into the hands of Green. Gaze will bring it from outside. Duke led it by 18. And and they were feeling very confident. But P.J. Carlesimo's Seton Hall Pirates hustled back in. And our coverage of this NCAA basketball championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Delta Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows. IBM, the people, products, and resources to help you find the right solution. And by Diet Pepsi. Make a fast break for great taste. Diet Pepsi, the taste that's generations ahead.
Inside this briefcase are the simple tools that enable your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer to do what no other dealer in the world can. Used skillfully, these instruments can help negotiate no down payment, lower monthly payment lease terms on select models. Why drive anything else when a new Mercedes-Benz is more affordable than ever before? A new leasing plan on a new Mercedes-Benz for a limited time only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer.
Express mail from your post office has a whole fleet of 727.
We deliver, we deliver.
A guaranteed morning delivery.
We deliver, we deliver.
And an overnight price of just $8.75.
We deliver, we deliver.
Speed, convenience, price. It's a package only we can deliver. Express mail from your postal service.
We deliver for you.
A6, hurry and you'll make it.
Delta Airlines ticket agent Sam Singletary knows how to get people moving.
Mr. Franklin, your bag.
But sometimes he has to show off a few moves of his own. The kind of moves that made him a first-string halfback. Sam Singletary shares a feeling with everyone at Delta. He loves what he's doing, and it shows.
We love to fly,
He's the kid.
and it shows.
Land sailing on the dry lakes of Black Rock, Nevada, and the great taste of old Milwaukee beer.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place in old Milwaukee beer.
It doesn't get any better than this.
This guy's a terror. After bouncing punches off Apollo, he wants to rock. Now the stage is set. Corby gets a balcony seat, and you're invited ringside for the matchup of the century. Sylvester Stallone stars in Rocky IV, Tuesday.
This is CBS.
There's a new force in the air. You can't beat it, and you can only buy it at Foot Locker. The Nike Air Court Force, exclusively at Foot Locker. Where else you gonna go? In the Summer Games, a marathoner blamed his disappointing finish on the fit of his shoes. Perhaps he should have started at Foot Locker. Foot Locker, where else you gonna go?
The destructive force of a tornado can destroy an entire neighborhood in just seconds. This year, keep ahead of the storm. Watch a series of reports on tornado safety beginning Sunday at 10.
We are at halftime in the national semifinals, game one, with the Duke Blue Devils leading Seton Hall by 5, 38-33. But bear in mind, it was 26-8 for the Blue Devils with 8.5 minutes left in the first half. Seton Hall outscoring Duke from that point on to the intermission, 25-12, as the Blue Devils were only 3 for 10 from the floor the remainder of the first half. Now we have some late-breaking news concerning the second game here tonight. Michigan and Illinois. This just in now from the Michigan camp. Glenn Rice has a slightly pulled left hamstring. It occurred yesterday in practice. It is apparently not serious enough to keep Rice out of the game. The Michigan team is on its way right now to the Kingdome, and again, we understand from Michigan officials, Rice will play against Illinois. As you may know, this is not the only Final Four going on this weekend here in the great state of Washington. Last night, the NCAA women played their semifinal games to set up tomorrow's national championship. Tim Brandt has that story from nearby Tacoma.
For the first time in the history of the NCAA, two teams from the same conference will play for the women's championship. And hello again, everybody. I'm Tim Brandt. The Auburn Lady Tigers and the Tennessee Volunteers have advanced to the championship game, and they are the only two clubs to hold the nation's '1 ranking during the regular season. And both were outstanding in their semifinal game last night. The Auburn Tigers, dressed in their white uniforms against Louisiana Tech, were led by 6'3" senior Vicki Orr. The three-time All-American scored 18 points. But the offensive spark came from 6'6" Linda Godby off the bench. She ended with 12 points, and Auburn makes it to the title game for the second year in a row. Meanwhile, Tennessee is going after its second national title in the last 3 years. Last night, Tennessee was dressed in its lucky white uniforms. The Volunteers are 20-0 while dressed in white. Bridget Gordon, the SEC Player of the Year, had 24 points, but the difference in this game was Sheila Frost. The 6'4" senior was relentless on the boards while scoring 25 points, and Tennessee goes on to beat Maryland 77-65. Now, these two clubs have met twice this year. They split. The third time is for the national championship. From the Tacoma Dome, I'm Tim Brandt for CBS Sports.
And tomorrow at 4 o'clock here on CBS, we will have the Women's National Championship game, Auburn and Tennessee. And we will continue with halftime festivities from the Kingdome in Seattle as we continue on CBS right after this.
Relive the excitement of the 1989 NCAA Final Four with a copy of the official souvenir program. To obtain your copy, send $8 to Final Four Program, Post Office Box 1989A, Lexington, Kentucky, 40593-1989. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. This message furnished by the NCAA.
My first year was a rough year, but after that, it became very important to me to graduate in a 4-year period. The competitiveness on the court, as well as in the classroom, helped me tremendously because the burning desire I had inside was not just to do well, but to excel, and not just to come off the bench, but to start. Not just to go to class and get credits to be eligible, but to graduate. And after that first year experience, when I saw that I could exist in that environment, I became a believer in myself, a believer that I could start and a believer that I could graduate on time. And from then on, I had one single purpose in mind, and that was to get my degree as well as to become the best that I could be.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
We're back here at the Kingdome in Seattle, the site of the 1989 NCAA Final Four, to continue a time-honored tradition. For the past 18 years, Chevrolet has actively supported collegiate athletics through its scholarship program. Now, each week of our college basketball season, CBS Sports selects an outstanding player of the game from each team. Then, at season's end, a player and coach of the year are chosen. Through these awards, Chevrolet has donated over $3 million to various schools' general scholarship funds. To present this year's award, here's Frank Rain, Chevrolet Truck Marketing Manager.
Thanks, James. Let's begin with this year's Division I Coach of the Year. He's Lute Olson from the University of Arizona.
Coach Olson has led Arizona to 100 victories in the past 4 years. He's taken a program from the ruins of a 1-win, 17-loss season in the Pac-10 in 1983 and turned it around to 17 wins, 1-loss marks in 1988 and 89 in that conference. He took the Wildcats to the Final Four last year, and this year they were the nation's top-ranked team at the end of the regular season. Coach Olson has also been named the Pac-10 Coach of the Year 3 times.
Congratulations, Lute. Chevrolet is proud to present $2,500 to the University of Arizona's General Scholarship Fund in your name.
Thanks, Frank. I'd like to thank Chevrolet and CBS Sports for according me this honor. I'd like to pass out a very special thanks to my team and to my staff for making this possible.
Thank you, Lute. And now for the Chevrolet Player of the Year.
Judging this year's performances by so many great athletes was demanding, to say the least. However, one player distinguished himself as the best of the best. This year's Chevrolet Player of the Year is Sean Elliott, also from the University of Arizona.
Sean Elliott is the Pac-10's all-time career scorer with 2,555 points. In fact, he surpassed Lou Alcindor's league mark with 35 points against UCLA a few weeks ago. He is the Pac-10 Player of the Year for the second consecutive season and a two-time All-American.
Congratulations, Sean.
Thank you, Mr. Rain. I'd also like to thank Chevrolet and CBS Sports for making this award possible. But I'd especially like to thank my teammates, my family, and the coaches at the University of Arizona. Thank you.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
And let me add CBS Sports and my personal congratulations to you both as well. And thanks to Chevrolet for making these awards possible.
Thanks, James. And on behalf of Chevrolet, let me extend our congratulations to CBS Sports for its continuing fine coverage of college basketball.
So back on the court, it's Duke 38, Seton Hall 33 at halftime, with Danny Ferry leading the way for the Blue Devils with 21 points. Right now, let's take you back in the corridors with our reporters and check out what the coaches had to say at the intermission. First stop, the Seton Hall locker room. Right outside is our Leslie Visser. Leslie.
Thanks, Jim. I spoke with Seton Hall assistant coach John Carroll, and he said that he thought the Pirates were a little bit nervous at the start of the game, that both Ramos and Gaze were forcing their shots instead of letting the game come naturally to them. As for stopping Danny Ferry, he said they'd like to get a hand in Ferry's face and also push Ferry away from the basket where he's less comfortable. We'll see if that strategy works. Over to you, James.
All right, Leslie, quite a lengthy halftime chat taking place by the Duke Blue Devils and Coach Mike Krzyzewski. As the players came off the floor, there was an awful lot of concern on their faces. One, they had an 18-point lead in the first half, chipped down to 5. Number 2, Danny Ferry, although a great individual first half with 21 points, the next highest score, only 7. Now, the major concern, of course, is the condition of Robert Brickey. As he came off the court, I asked him, did he think he can make it the second half? He says, JB, it looks very doubtful, a lot of pain in that right thigh. Now let's go back to the anchor chair and Jim Nance.
All right, James, so we're getting set for the second half. We'll take it back to Brent and Billy as we continue from the Kingdome after this message and a word from your local stations.
From Monday to Friday, I'm behind a desk. Come Saturday, that's a different story.
If a trip to the mountains sounds good to you, forget about calling a travel agent, because we've got your ticket right here. The 4x4 of the year. America's #1 selling compact 4x4. Toyota.
Puts working all week into perspective.
Toyota!
I love it.
Life's full of simple pleasures, like the comfort of Levi's jeans. Or had you forgotten?
Glory days are over.
Richard York.
New times will soon begin.
Where's Suki?
You gotta hold on to the fire.
Mark Zimmerman.
The fire deep within.
Adele Zion.
Don't wanna lose the fire.
Carl.
Just gotta cool me down.
Carl Hooker.
It's ever so tough being ranked #1 and not being rank. What assists me is the maximum protection and aromatically airy scents of Right Guard Sports Stick from Gillette. Anything less would be uncivilized.
This is CBS.
Here's the leader in compact trucks, Ford Ranger, with important advantages that Chevy and Toyota don't have.
Go with the leader.
You're in four-wheel drive at the touch of a button. Only Ranger 4x4 gives you this advanced system, standard.
Go with the leader.
And Ranger beats Chevy S10 in standard horsepower and torque. It's today's best-selling compact truck.
Go with the leader. Ford trucks.
Get 2.9% financing or up to $750 cash bonus on '89 Ford Ranger.
The destructive force of a tornado can destroy an entire neighborhood in just seconds. This year, keep ahead of the storm. Watch a series of reports on tornado safety beginning Sunday at 10.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. Gillette and the Gillette Atra Plus shaving system. Gillette, the best a man can get. And by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
Well, we get ready to start the second half, and Billy Packer, Seton Hall has climbed back in this, and after the injury suffered by Bricky, Duke needs another scorer to help Danny Ferry.
They really do. That's been the key to their success in the tournament. It's got to come from somebody. Quinn Snyder has not scored a field goal. Henderson's 1 for 7. I thought he would be the guy, and of course Bricky has not scored. He's warming up a little bit now. He may come back in there. It makes Ferry a lot better if he knows that there's somebody else out there going to score.
Billy, here is the injury suffered by Bricky in the early going. Green bumps him, and you can see how that left leg was caught awkwardly up in the air, and he may have suffered some kind of a tear in the muscle area. You can take another look. Up on top of Green, he fell heavily to the floor. He tried to play. He has come out from the Duke locker room, and this was just moments ago trying to stretch that injury. He did a little bit of jogging, so it is possible he will try it. Now, some of the numbers, we have raved about Seton Hall's shooting defense. Look what they're doing against Duke from the field. Of course, Seton Hall is not doing very well against that Duke defense either. Now, there's what Ferry has accomplished. 8 of 13. The rest of the team, 3 of 16. Rebounding right now, and Duke enjoying a big edge, and Bricky will try it here at the start of the second half. And Billy, why is he so important to this offense?
Well, Danny Ferry is not only a gifted player physically, he is mentally as well, and he has a sense for his ball club. I thought in the first half, he all of a sudden sensed that there was no scoring. He was trying to do too much himself. He had a great first half, but he really needs somebody else to take that scoring load. It could come from Bricky. Morton goes right by him.
Morton, who sat out most of the first half because of 3 fouls, puts in the first field goal to start the second half. And they pull to within 2 points. Remember, they were down 18.
That was a smart play by Morton to go right at him.
Ferry coming around the corner, score it, and he'll step up to the free throw line. Ramos staring in disbelief as he has been assessed his second personal.
Ramos, an excellent defender, but that's what's so tough about Danny Ferry. As I said, he has unlimited range with his jump shot. He can go out beyond 3-point. He's very good at that mid-distance jump shot, and then he goes with a pump fake and takes it to the basket. Tough for Ramos.
Billy, when you have a big lead in college basketball and it starts to drain away, do you get scared?
Oh, yeah, particularly a team that's been in its Final Four before, and there's Ramos with a walk. You start looking up at that scoreboard a little bit. And if you're Mike Krzyzewski, you're nervous until you can see somebody else putting some points on the board other than Ferry. Ramos goes out. He's having a nightmare of a game. As I said, did not score against UNLV. Just can't get it in gear.
And it'll be the sophomore again, number 32, Anthony Avent, down on the inside. So Ferry, who has carried the load, trying to find some offensive help this time. And it'll be Leitner stepping out. They punch off, turn it over.
Off
and
balance.
Morton pounds it down in the middle. He'll go all the way if he gets a chance. Off balance also. And it's Duke's turn to come back down. Bounce pass to Henderson for the layup.
Nice pass by Quinn Snyder on the 3-on-2 break.
That's where a Morton out of control can hurt you. If he is unable to finish up, it gave Duke an opportunity to come back. And that's why they changed the point guard situation at Seton Hall last year.
Green had the good first half, exploding by. People need to keep that dribble alive there. Good defense by Leitner, stepping up there to help out.
And now it's Duke's interior defense does a job, and Green missing the 2. Henderson in a foot race with Walker, and Henderson crashes into one of the assistants over there on the Seton Hall bench.
I like this.
Ramos quickly comes back.
I like this move by P.J. Carlesimo. He probably just had a little talk with Ramos, an all Big East performer who's just not getting it done in a slight slump. He's made a defensive switch here, which should help Ramos, putting Walker on Ferry. Let Ramos play Leitner.
Leitner bulls his way in and scores his first field goal of the second half. A total of 7 points for Leitner.
Might have got by with an offensive foul there because Walker's defensive position was excellent.
Through Ramos and over to the Blue Devils, who are working on a 10-point lead right now, 45-35.
Brent, one of the things that both teams are trying to do is feed the post straight on. They'd be much better if they'd swing the ball and get a little angle on into Ramos. See if Bricky can explode with the drive. He hasn't shown it yet. It's like he's playing a little gimpy.
Ferry is off of Walker short with the shot, and Ramos there for the rebound. Morton puts it down, had Walker open, didn't get to him, comes up though and hits his own jump shot. 2 field goals, both in the second half.
Had 27 against Syracuse in the Big East final. Morton can explode.
Henderson, Gaze with a hand on it and controls it. Lead now to Morton. 3 field goals for John Morton in the second half.
Henderson having a hard time getting off a good shot on Morton.
Gaze taking Bricky. Snyder cut off. Now he'll punch into Ferry. Ferry coming up. Walker not wanting to foul. Backs off. And Duke gets it as Henderson dug it out.
Good rebounding by the guard.
Misfiring. Seton Hall's ball.
Brent, I sense that Duke has got to, in the next minute or so, get some scoring from somebody. Let's see if Bricky can run. He really can't. You notice that? He cannot run.
He had to stop.
Yep.
And come back.
Now what Seton Hall should do is recognize that and get Gaze with the ball in his hand and beat Bricky one-on-one, because Bricky just can't run.
Leitner. And that's his 4th personal foul.
Foul is charged to number 32, Christian Leitner.
Abdel Nabi will replace him, and he comes into the game with 3.
Abdel Nabi replaces Leitner.
Mike Krzyzewski can still go to Buckley and Palmer. He's got size down there, but not experience in a game like this one.
Here's Gaze. Bricky taking him, and on the punch in, another foul, and this one on Abdel Nabi, his 4th.
Foul is charged.
There was the angle I was talking about, hitting the low post. It's been tough beating a man straight on, but you get that angle, like that 45-degree angle. A guy like Ramos can put a man on his hip.
Walker steps inside of Abdel Nabi that time, who did not want to reach in and risk his 5th personal, and it's 12 points for Walker. One of those underrated guys down on the inside who can do a lot of the little things, a lot of the dirty work. Snyder hoists a 3. Off into Green's hands, and Snyder is called for the foul, his 3rd. Krzyzewski can't believe it.
Snyder still without a field goal. A lot of pressure on this young man coming back home to play here. He's native of the Seattle area and just not getting it going offensively.
Duke has led it all the way, but things are not going their way. Morton missing, but Gaze was there.
Perfect pass.
And now Bricky is back down on the court again.
Brent, he's not going to be able to make it.
For Seton Hall, Michael Cooper, 31, returns to the lineup. For Duke, number 22, Greg Kuban.
It's a big blow for Duke University because they lose a guy who is a potential finisher on the break. And now the scoring has to come from Henderson to help Danny Ferry.
Ramos working away on Ferry on the inside. Denied the pass. John Smith will try it from the perimeter. He is short. Rebound by Seton Hall. Michael Cooper yanked it away.
You can sense Seton Hall starting to pick up a lot of confidence in this run right now. They have not had the lead the entire game, but you sense they see that Duke is struggling offensively. And if you're Seton Hall, they should be helping out even more on Danny Ferry now, because you know that he's going to try to take it over.
Walker.
Basketball number 24, Darryl Walker.
Duke has hit only one of its last 6 shots. Henderson. Cooper is there. The Hall can tie or take the lead. Batted back, Duke's ball. Lead Ferry. 26.
But Brent, you notice that their baskets are not coming within their offense.
Inside again, put it down.
And Seton Hall's baskets are.
Smith's first personal foul.
Clay Buckley into the ball game now for Duke. His father Jay played in the Final Four. So Mike really having to go down this bench. Got Al-Nabi with what, 4? He's got Leitner in trouble with fouls.
Foul on John Smith.
Buckley is 6'10", the sophomore out of Wayne, Pennsylvania.
One shot.
Hitting the free throw, and it's a 1-point lead. We'll take a timeout and come right back.
We're here at the new Disney MGM Studios theme park for the premiere of the 1990 Chevy Lumina. The Lumina sedan has the most passenger room in its class. And coming later this year, the Lumina Coupe and the new Lumina all-purpose vehicle with optional seating for 7, no matter what your size. Introducing the family Lumina from today's Chevrolet.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Chevy Lumina, official car of the Disney MGM Studios theme park.
See you real soon.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Michael, what's taking you so long?
There's one taste that just can't be duplicated.
Michael, you just don't look yourself today.
Diet Pepsi. Taste that's generations ahead.
At UPS, we're changing the look of the international delivery business. Because now, UPS delivers to every country in Western Europe, the Pacific Rim, Down Under, and Canada. And because we're so efficient, we can deliver your international parcels and documents for fewer francs, yen, or drachmas than other companies charge. An accomplishment we feel deserves a little flag waving. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Don't miss the spectacle of the International Sport Climbing Championships, plus a Final Four roundtable discussion from Seattle, tomorrow on CBS Sports Sunday.
With Billy Packer, I'm Brent Musburger from the Kingdome in Seattle. Seton Hall has pulled to within 1. That's the closest we've been since Duke scored the first point on a free throw, and timeout is called by Duke.
Brent, the press is really effective by not guarding the man taking the ball out of bounds.
You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are. Father to son. It's what we've always done. Gillette.
The Gillette Atra Plus system with the Lubra Smooth Strip for the best a man can get.
Most personal computers are like a 2-lane highway, which is fine until there's so much information, even important data, gets stuck. But you can have more lanes for information in your system right now with an IBM invention called microchannel in many IBM Personal System 2 computers. It's putting an end to roadblocks and speed limits, so you'll be going places faster today and down the road. When you're thinking ahead, you're thinking IBM Personal System 2.
For hanging in, for hanging tough, for holding on when the going's rough, for the smile that's part of you, that extra mile, for coming through this
taste so crisp and clean, so refreshing. It's the king of beers.
This one's for you.
A 13-4 run over the last 3.5 minutes by Seton Hall. They trail it by a point and applying the pressure. Snyder, who still is looking for his first point in this game, bringing the ball up now for the Blue Devils, who have Ferry, Kubek, Buckley, and Henderson, number 3. They apparently have lost Bricky for perhaps the rest of the afternoon after suffering that leg injury in the first half. He tried here in the second half and couldn't go. Seton Hall digging back in. Henderson squeezing the trigger. And now the Hall can take the lead. Green on the bounce pass to Cooper. And it goes over.
Fred, you can see that Seton Hall has taken Duke out of their offense completely.
The basket counts. Seton Hall leads. Foul against Seton Hall. It's 50-49.
Well, they battled back 19 points from being down by 18 at one point. Here's the fast break coming out. Good job by Cooper taking it right to the hoop. Kubek's waiting for him. One of the things Duke could do right here against this particular press is let somebody other than Danny Ferry take the ball out of bounds so that he could be the recipient of the pass by throwing over the head of a guy like Green, who's much smaller.
The first lead by Seton Hall in the game. Ferry can't get it back. Ramos yanks it away, and he is fouled by Buckley.
As much as Mike Krzyzewski doesn't want to do it this early, I think he's got to come back with Christian Laettner to get himself another score in the game. Buckley not going to score. Kubek not going to score. Snyder hasn't shown that he can, and Henderson having the cold hand. Great comeback by Seton Hall.
In low to Ramos. And he turned it over.
Ramos can't believe it because he's normally pretty steady on the inside. Now here's an example. See, Danny Ferry's taking the ball out of bounds. They could throw over him.
Bounce pass by Snyder is a beauty, and Henderson finishes. 13 for the game with Laettner watching. Duke leading now 51-50. 13-20 in regulation. Punch in. Ferry tries to save it. Throws deep, and Ramos off his hand. Give it up. Quinn Snyder scores off the turnover.
Boy, Danny Ferry made the great play by throwing it towards his end of the court, therefore not giving Seton Hall a chance to capitalize.
Ramos wants it low. Ferry to help out. Stayed with it defensively. Walker's got it back. Cleans up. That's his strength. Marvelous offensive rebounder.
Now, Gaze is not getting enough credit for his defense in this game. He's shutting Henderson down pretty well.
Gaze without a lot of speed. Great position defender. Ferry will get this one to fall. That's 28 points for Ferry. With Mickey Krzyzewski watching the Duke Blue Devils here from the Kingdome this afternoon. Gaze hoists a three from down under.
Henderson tried to help out. Gaze too dangerous a shooter to allow to go inside. You turn your back and he'll drill it.
Duke 55, Seton Hall 55. Here's Snyder. His three still not there. And there's a push on the inside against Duke. Henderson's second.
Another thing I've noticed the last time or two down the floor, Danny Ferry very, very tired. He has not come out of this game yet. You can see him going over on the sidelines. He needs a blow.
For Duke, Christian Laettner and John Smith return to the lineup.
Laettner and Smith both check back in. Avent back for Seton Hall. Cooper is on the floor. France Volsey, number 30. Also there, great pass to Avent.
Back screen beautifully set by Gaze.
Seton Hall leading it by 2. They punch to Ferry, and great defense on the inside. Gaze off the spin, gets it to Avent again. It's a 4-point lead by the Pirates.
And here you can see Volsey, who is very rested, playing Danny Ferry, giving him all kinds of trouble.
Leitner.
Basket by number 32.
Back to 2. Inside to Cooper. 61-57. Seton Hall leading Duke. Ferry's outside. Henderson short. Gaze was there again defensively. Green tries to save it, stepped out of bounds. Duke's ball.
Brilliant play by Green, though. If he throws the ball back in, he knew that there's a chance Duke could get it right under their own basket. Better off taking it out with him.
P.J. Carlissimo's team on a tear. Seton Hall has hit 12 of its last 14 shots, and Snyder got it up high on the glass and couldn't get it to fall. Drawing the foul this time. That's Volsey's second.
Foul is charged to number 30, Franz Volsey. His second, team's third.
Quinn Snyder, that's his second opportunity he had to put back a relatively easy one. Didn't hit either.
Ferry's 3. Off to the side. Seton Hall comes back.
Duke completely out of their offensive pattern right now, trying to do it all one-on-one.
Now they're down by 6. We've got a timeout called by the Blue Devils.
What do you have?
Give me 2 pizza puffs, a chili dog.
Excuse me. Gus.
1 minute.
Sorry.
Give me 2 pizza puffs, a chili dog, a large.
Hey, look. Gus, I told you, to be hot dog kings, we need lots of Bud Light. Not Bull Light?
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Now what do you think? It's beautiful.
Because everything else is just a light.
Hey, what about my pizza puffs?
After 6 hours of school, I had enough for the day. I hit the radio dial.
With the designed-in sound of a Delco Electronics music system. Now the best seat in the house is in your GM car or truck. Delco Electronics, it's who we are.
The Honda Lawnmower. It was first with a convenient blade brake clutch, with an automotive-type shaft drive, with an easy-starting overhead valve engine. It's the first mower good enough to be a Honda.
We switched from Ford to Chevy.
Listen to the heartbeat of America.
We have to have equipment that will hold up to the job, and Chevy does it. We're generally pulling something, and generally it's pretty heavy. We use them hard, and they stand up to it. And we do it all day long, and we don't worry about it. Now, that's what we have to have in a truck out here to get the job done.
That's the D's Chevy truck.
10 minutes remaining, and Krzyzewski is down to only 1 timeout. Carlissimo with 2. Fouls to give. Seton Hall with 4. Duke only 1. In case of a held ball, it'll go over to the Blue Devils. This half, Duke is shooting 41%, and Seton Hall has elevated its game. 78%. The Pirates are shooting here against the Blue Devils. And the struggle continues. They get it in, or at least try, and Ferry forced out to the perimeter. Nothing working down on the inside. Now they hit Leitner. He goes hard and drew the foul.
This is a good move by Mike Krzyzewski. He's got to figure out that second score. It may be Leitner because he hasn't been able to get it on the perimeter. And what also will help by going to Leitner is it keeps that weak side defender from double teaming Danny Ferry. But you got to like PJ's situation right now because he's being able to rest both Morton and Walker on the sidelines.
Watching from the sideline, several of the Michigan Wolverines. They'll be out here next against Illinois. Walker returning. He's played a solid game here this afternoon. And sitting down with the 3 fouls, Volsey.
Nice piece of substitution by P.J. Carlesimo. All he needs is a couple of minutes out of those subs. He's much more rested with his key people than is Duke.
63-59. Walker takes Duke down in low, and then the tap back. And that was Avent again.
Number 32, Anthony Avent.
Good help by Cooper on Ferry.
Davis, Kubek at the perimeter, in low to Leitner, and the freshman starting to pick up the load. That's 13 points. It's a 4-point lead by Seton Hall. 9.5 minutes to go in regulation. Green continues on in. Leitner was there, and he is fouled out of the game.
Oh, that was
I thought he had the ball.
Block. Yeah, right on top of it. And this really causes problems for Mike Krzyzewski, because just when he was getting the secondary score, he loses him on fouls. Watch this play right here. I thought he had all ball on this one. All ball. And Christian Leitner felt likewise.
Smith.
For Duke, number 33, John
Off
Smith,
the Duke
replaces
bench.
Christian Leitner.
Now they have 4 perimeter players and Ferry on the floor.
For Seton Hall, Gerald Green shooting 2.
Green has been the one man that's been the difference as far as getting Seton Hall back into their offense. Even when they were behind, he stayed with it.
Well, he was one of the big differences in PJ's recruiting, too, in that Riverside Church League, which has about 15 or 16 graduates now playing in the NBA. When he was able to convince this young man to come to Seton Hall, and then he was able to get Morton and Walker to join him. And he had coached down in Puerto Rico. He knew about Ramos. Gaze had lit up the Big East All-Star team, so he was able to recruit him for a year. Now it's Snyder hoisting a 3 in and out. Walker with the rebound, and Seton Hall is solidly in command of this game. It is 67-61, and you can feel it.
Snyder without a field goal.
Gaze down under again.
Well, he can shoot that three-pointer without his legs being in good position, which is hard to do. Duke really panicked right now. You can see it in their eyes.
Snyder again, and this time he finds the range from three-point land. 5 points total, all 5 in the second half, keeping Duke within 6 points. It'll be Gaze again.
Oh!
Well, they don't have Larry Bird in Australia, but Gaze will do down there, won't he?
Remember a name like Oscar, Brent? That's what those guys can do from the outside to get that three-point swing going.
Avent fouling Ferry. Avent's first.
Gaze has done the job all year long from the outside as a perimeter shooter, but today I think he's done a great job defensively as well.
Bricky will try it again.
And John Smith.
Injured his leg early in the game. Stayed in, was forced out, finished a half on the bench as Ramos checks back in for Seton Hall. Green is also out, along with Avent.
Again, pulling all the right buttons is P.J. Carlesimo. He takes Green out of the game at a time when if he can get 3 minutes out of Pookie Wigginton, allows Green to come back fresh for the stretch run.
All 5-4 of Pookie Wigginton bringing the ball up now. He was some player in J.C. League in California. He's had some problems with a knee. Gets it back from Ramos. Snyder not so used to looking down defensively.
I think that Ramos can score on John Smith on the inside.
Smith trying to stay with it. Ramos and Wigginton are there defensively. Smith waits for help. And they hit Henderson on a flash. And Gaze was there, off into Wigginton's hands. 73-65. Seton Hall, 7.5 minutes left in regulation.
Gay's just doing the job on Henderson. Henderson cannot get off the shot down inside. Even though he's an outstanding leaper, Gay's timing has been perfect on the defensive end.
Snyder is called for the moving foul, his fourth.
Now there's a case where you know Wigginton is not going to be a threat to score that far out. Quinn Snyder just has to play him solid. No reason to try to draw the charge out there.
Number 22, Greg Kuban, replaces Quinn Snyder.
A good team for Seton Hall to press right now with Snyder out of the game. Smallest player in Division I basketball is Wigginton.
On the floor for the Blue Devils, Ricky, Henderson, Ferry, Smith, and Kubek. Cooper gets it back into Wigginton's hands.
Gaze was ready, wasn't he?
He sure was. He was thinking about it.
Illegal screen on Cooper.
His third personal.
Foul is charged to number 31, Michael Cooper. His third personal foul, team's sixth.
(73-65). Seton Hall leading.
Now Henderson has a much smaller man on him. See if he tries to go over Wigginton.
Smith on the inside. It's blocked. Out of bounds, Duke ball.
I think Duke would be smart to get Henderson down in low with Wigginton. He can shoot over him.
Henderson 4 of 15 here this afternoon.
Just keep your hands off each other, please.
Not going to have a chance because here comes Green in. P.J. Carlesmo right on top of that move.
Kubek
got hit on the arm. No call.
Seton Hall's ball.
Special setup play now. High double poach. You notice Seton Hall is bringing their offense out a little higher.
And a foul against Henderson.
This is not a delay game, but it brings the defense out higher, and you're going to get some backdoor cuts from Seton Hall right now.
Quinn Snyder, number 14, returns to the lineup, replacing Greg
Snyder returns, and Kubek sits down.
And Brent, we talked about Duke being to the Final Four 7 times. First time they were there was 64. Went up against John Wooden in 64 when Wooden won his first national championship, and it followed. It was 63, 64, 66, 78, 86, 88, and 89. They could be the bridesmaid of all time. And a good free throw shooting team is Seton Hall.
Hayes sits down to a round of applause.
Well, the MVP of the West Regional had an outstanding game today, and give him some accolades for the defensive work he did on Henderson.
Seton Hall is now 14 of 16 from that free throw line.
You get a situation where the clock is now becoming Duke's opponent, where they've got to be thinking 3.
Ferry.
There's a push by Smith, not called.
Seton Hall getting another break.
Brent, Danny Ferry will not be able to post up down low and get those moves because Seton Hall is bringing people from the weak side over to stop that play.
We have had a 28-point swing in this game, from 18 down to 10 up by Seton Hall. One of the more impressive comebacks in the history of the Final Four. Where you look like you're dead in the water. Seton Hall pulled themselves together and has made a remarkable run in this game.
Well, I think the key was Bricky going down. Duke was then without a scorer, and the only way they stayed in the game was a sensational first half by Ferry. Good spacing now by Seton Hall, bringing that offense out higher. They're going to get an easy one. There it is.
Ramos right there.
What's happening is Duke trying to overplay, and there's a lot of space underneath the basket.
Snyder's three.
2 in a row for Quinn Snyder.
Kind of firepower they're going to need here. It's 77-68. Just inside of 5.5 minutes to work with. Gaze
nice
to return
move.
soon as Morton got it inside to Ramos again, and he'll stay with it.
Basket by 45, Raymond Ramos.
Ricky showing a lot of courage playing out here on that one leg, but just nowhere near the quick Ricky we know of.
Knocked away. They've stripped it.
And again, weak side defense. That offensive maneuver is not going to be there.
Ferry jumping out commits the personal, his second.
Foul is charged to number 35, Danny Ferry, his second personal foul. For Duke, for 22, Greg Kubek. Number 30, Alan
Gaze's father is the John Wooden of Australia. He is the gentleman there with the gray hair on the right. His name is Lindsay Gaze. He coaches a team down in Australia, and it's a team without a star. And that's his son. He badly wants this season to end so he can get his son back home down under. This has been a tremendous learning experience for Andrew Gaze. He was talking about it yesterday, given an opportunity to play 1 year in the United States.
And Brent, being 24 years of age, I don't even think Seton Hall will be applying for him to go ahead and get that other year. He still would have the opportunity to apply for another year of eligibility, but it looks like he is going to go back to Australia and continue to play for their national team.
You folks down in Australia should know that his nickname is Jacks, as in Hungry Jacks. For those of you in the U.S., that's the McDonald's of Australia. Here's Ferry gliding in, missing, rebound, Ramos. And Duke battles to save it, but they have stepped out of bounds at the end line. I believe that's Davis who went flying in there. Yes, it is.
With this lead, PJ's going to want to start using that clock just a little bit.
Does it sound funny to anybody else to say Seton Hall is going to play for a national championship? What a tremendous story this is. And they're now within 4 minutes and 25 seconds of moving to Monday night. And they did it the old-fashioned way here this afternoon. Nothing but hard work. There wasn't anything easy about what this team has accomplished here today. Morton.
Basket by number 23, John Morton.
Brent, this team has had a great basketball tradition in the past with the Wanzers and the Bobby Davies, some of the great guard play of all time. Honey Russell, the great club that they took and won the NIT championship with. Back in those days, that was considered the equivalent, if not even more, than the NCAA.
Now, even though they play their home games in the Big East and the Meadowlands, the school is not located in a swamp, folks. Seton Hall is located in South Orange, New Jersey. That's a suburb of Newark. It was created in 1856, and it was named after the first American saint, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. And she's got to be very proud what the Pirates are accomplishing here this afternoon. Ramos battling for that rebound. You're not going to get it away from him.
They've got 10 seconds to get it up over. They are now very close, almost. They have to get the ball over half court here. It's at 35. It should be Duke's ball because it's been 10 seconds. They never got it over half court. We're going to send a man along. Danny Ferry back here. Safety. They've got to get it over half court.
Green gets it up.
Too quick for Kubek. Again, watch where Seton Hall sets up. Everybody above that foul line looking for the spacing down inside.
Blocking foul on Snyder, and Snyder is gone.
Foul is charged.
We remember that scene when he fouled out the Georgetown game and pulled everybody over together, and part of his conversation was win one for me. But at this point, Brent, I don't think that's a possibility with just 3:39 to go. And with a club that Duke has on the floor against the Morton and Green backcourt, it'd be very difficult to press.
Number 23, John Morton, shooting.
Somewhere, there are a couple of very embarrassed former members of the Student Senate who once called for P.J. Carlissimo's scalp.
Once called, it was less than 2 seasons ago. We're talking about midway through last season, where P.J. then eventually led them to their first NCAA bid, and of course this year they have them in the final and championship game.
85-68. Seton Hall leading. They were down by 18 in the first half. Smith is fouled. Very disappointed parents there. That's Quinn Snyder's father in the glasses, and his mother right next to him. The young man who had a great high school career. He's a tremendous student at Duke. His grade point average is about 3.3. Those are numbers I can't identify with. I'm sure some in the audience can.
There's Danny Ferry's roommate. They've had excellent careers. 3 Final Fours. But not one time are they going to come home with that championship.
This will probably be the most disappointing of the failures. You lead it by 18 in the first half, and you've got everything going your way, and suddenly the plug was pulled for Mike Krzyzewski.
Well, I really think that Bricky not being available took away one of the big weapons that Mike Krzyzewski would have to use. Just could not get any more scoring. And that's not to make an excuse for Duke, because Seton Hall has played a great game, particularly on the defensive end of the floor.
Well, for the first 8 minutes, they played a horrible game. Shooting, if you will. They couldn't bury anything, and then they've turned it around. That great interior defense, and whoever they draw on Monday night, best be ready.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Stop.
Well, it's a team that we all talked about with basically 5 seniors when you consider Gaze's great international experience. So it's a club that even down 18 knows that they've been there before. They've played against great competition, have not lost a game against a team outside the Big East all this year. Started off the season winning the Great Alaskan Shootout. Club that's beaten Georgetown 3 times in the last 2 years.
And you know what makes them happier than anything in the world? They won't have to play Syracuse on Monday night. Syracuse is their Achilles heel, folks. They haven't beaten the Orangemen in the Big East since 1981, and now the chant begins. Seton Hall.
Brent, you know, when you start talking about streaks this team have, I think one of the great ones is this year they beat St. John's over at St. John's, the first time since 1913. I mean, that's a streak.
This team has captured the imagination of the New York metropolitan area the last couple of weeks with their great play. Ferry on a spinner. Smith will try to come back, knocked away, and there on the end line, he was out of bounds. Duke's ball.
Again, Danny Ferry trying to use that reverse dribble, only when he beats his man, he runs right into the weak side defense, making the shot very tough.
Volsey fouled. This is what has happened down the stretch in terms of field goals allowed by this defense. Why we've been raving about it all day long. Now, here this afternoon against Duke,
For Seton Hall, Volsey shooting 1
Only two field goals in the last 7 minutes.
The other thing that's impressive is that they do it by taking a team out of their offense completely. You notice that Duke midway through this second half started to go completely one-on-one. It was the only way they could get a shot off.
Ferry hoists a 3 in, and he has scored 32 points in what could be his last college basketball game.
That reminded me of the shot that Sean Elliott hit to beat Duke in the Meadowlands this year.
Reach-in foul by Davis on Morton. 2:23.
Foul is on number 23, Brian Davis.
So from the
His first
Kingdome
personal foul.
in Seattle, this is game 1 of the Final Four. Seton Hall headed toward Monday night in the national championship, where they will take on the winner of that friendly little neighborhood war between Michigan and Illinois coming up next.
You said
Illinois,
friendly?
yeah, Illinois has beaten the Wolverines rather handily twice this year, but that may not matter here this afternoon if Glenn Rice continues to scorch the net the way he did coming out of that southeastern region. That'll be the second game of the national final.
You know, Brennan, in the great accomplishment by Dave Gavitt and what he's done in putting together this Big East, Seton Hall becomes the 6th team in that league in the 10-year history to make it to the Final Four. So great balance from top to bottom.
Kubek. Ferry stays with it, pulls his way around, and this time Smith coming up, and the foul is called on Volsey. That's his 4th.
See the great effort by Danny Ferry trying to do everything he can to stay in this game, but I think they've known for a good 5 or 6 minutes here that this game was going to Seton Hall. Great career.
For Duke, John Smith shoots 2.
Lead by 18 and now trail by 17. They were hit by a steamroller here this afternoon.
Ferry, the only player in ACC conference history which has got a storied past with 2,000 points, over 900 rebounds, 450 assists. He's had a great career and put on an All-American performance here today, but they didn't get any help from scoring from anybody else. Somebody wide open, Gaze, but nobody sees him yet. There he is.
A little frosting inside the 2-minute mark. They'll bring down the final seconds on the clock, and Seton Hall will head toward Monday night. Ferry, though, still battling away as the foul is called on Morton. In the Danny Ferry era at Duke, one of only 4 players to have his number retired. The 3rd time he's been in the Final Four in 4 years. Now keep in mind that in each of those appearances, his last loss was to the team that won the national championship. They were beaten in that final game as a freshman by Louisville. Then the next year they were picked off by Indiana, and the Hoosiers won the national championship. A year ago, Mike Krzyzewski lost to Kansas. So what a great omen that might be for Seton Hall. Foul goes against Duke. Kubek. 1.5 minutes to go.
You know, Brett, I think back, and I talked about the history of Seton Hall basketball, the great Honey Russell teams. That club that he had was undefeated and #1 ranked in the nation until they lost 2 straight games. Opt to go to the NIT instead of the NCAA. They won the NIT championship. Indiana that year won the NCAA championship. It'd be hard to believe now that a vote would be cast by players to say, let's play in the NIT instead, huh? Avan, who had a great game off the bench again. And that man who just reached over to cheer, P.J. Carlissimo, is having some tournament as a coach. He is pulling all the right wires.
And he pulls them himself. He's not a board of directors coach. He kneels down in front of that bench, and he understands what's happening every minute. Ferry gets it back. Continuing to battle away in a lost cause. Taps one in. That's why he still has a great basketball future ahead of him. And a timeout has been called here by Seton Hall. 1:15 to go. Ramos, the veteran, says, let's talk about how we're going to run this clock out.
Imagine a game with over 70 million prizes, enough for 1 out of 3 people to win. Introducing Scrabble at McDonald's. You can win hot, tasty fries, a cool $1 million, or spell Disney, like this guy, and win a trip to Disneyland for 4. And just wait till you see the new Splash Mountain. Now that's fun. Transportation included on Delta. What are you waiting for? Play Scrabble at McDonald's. In a word, you can win.
I love this game. I love to win, and I have, in college and in the pros. So I've had some experience celebrating. And you know, the way you celebrate says as much about you as the winning does. So do it right. Be responsible. Take care of yourself and your friends. Know when to say when.
A reminder from Anheuser-Busch.
If you're a business spending over $120 a month in long-distance services, and you think that you're saving 20 to 30% with another carrier, we want you to try AT&T Pro Watts. We'll waive the installation charges, waive the change charges, and if you're not satisfied and agree that we have the best value, price, and quality, at the end of 90 days, we'll pay to put you back on your other long-distance vendor. You can save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance. Call us, 1-800-222-0400.
Seton Hall down by 18 in the first half, moving toward Monday night and the national championship game. Blazing away at 75% in the second half. Gaze was open there, but they want to run down the clock a little bit, so they'll take a few more seconds off of it.
Tough to press 5 seniors. All of which can catch the ball very nicely. You know, and these are fellas that when they were freshmen, they were the doormats of the Big East League, so they know what it's been like to be down.
Gaze is 3.
He'd been waiting there, Brent, for what seemed like half a lifetime.
Davis steps inside Gaze and was fouled by him with 22 seconds to go.
Foul is charged to number 10, Andrew Gaze, his second personal foul.
And now they'll clear the bench. A photo to take back home down under. We'll get another opportunity to broadcast to Australia live on Monday night.
Well, what do you think? They'd rather watch Greg Norman win the Masters, Gaze hit a 3-pointer, or return the America's Cup? Which one do you think they'd watch?
I'd rather have somebody come along and win Wimbledon again.
Wimbledon?
Just kidding.
Well, at least this is a first for them. They're moving in on another sport. They've won Wimbledon before. That went off Henderson's foot. Mike Krzyzewski really throws the ball away. It's been a long afternoon, at least since about that 10-minute mark in that first half.
Isn't that great for some of these subs who don't see much playing time to say that they got into a Final Four, that we were out there on the floor like Trevor Crowley. There he is breaking deep, and they hit him on a pass. Oh, would he love to have a field goal, but Duke would not give it to him that easily as Crawford Palmer, the freshman from Arlington, knocked it away. Hasn't quit coaching over there on the far side.
You know, wasn't it nice and refreshing to see PJ was out here about an hour before the game talking to people? I mean, not uptight at all. He's really got his head on straight.
Seton Hall heads to the championship game with a dramatic comeback, putting away Duke 95-78. on the winner of Game 2, Illinois or Michigan. We'll talk to some of the heroes in a moment.
This kind of love is mythical. It's anything but typical. Simply irresistible. Simply irresistible, man. There's no other way to go. Simply irresistible.
Six-topping Supreme Pizza from Pizza Hut. Get one medium for $8.99 or two for just $4 more.
Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America. Oh, yeah.
Chevy S10 Blazer, the most powerful V6 engine available in its class, and the most fun available in any class.
To the heartbeat of America. Chevrolet. That's today's Chevrolet.
Monday night, Seton Hall can become the first school from the state of New Jersey to win the national championship. The hottest thing to happen to the Garden State since Bruce Springsteen. And yes, Princeton was in the Final Four before, as was Rutgers, but they did not take home the big prize. And yes, this team was not entirely born in the USA, but Seton Hall, I can tell you, was born to run. And Monday night, they'll have their shot to win the national championship. Let's talk about now the Chevy MVPs from this first game in the national semifinals. Darrell Walker for Seton Hall, 19 points and 6 rebounds. And Danny Ferry closes out his college career with 34 points. So let's go back down courtside with Brett Musburger.
All right, Jim, thank you. And we're down here with P.J. Carlissimo and a gutty band of Seton Hall Pirates. P.J., down 18, any discouragement? How did you start to get it turned back?
I didn't do anything, Brent. These guys just started playing. I think Duke just took it to us early and did a great job, and we might have been a little tight, but that's not giving Duke their due. They came after us, and we didn't play as relaxed and as well as we could play. I think once the kids settled in defensively, we were okay.
Did you say anything to them as they came to the sideline and you gave them a little blow in the early going and they were tight?
No, we were tight. There was nothing you could say. It wasn't X's and O's. They knew they weren't playing. They just had to settle down and play.
Oh, I think you're too modest. Billy, you got some of the heroes over there.
Everybody wants to hear this Aussie talk a little bit. We've seen him shoot and score. Andrew, Brent and I were kidding. What would they like to see down there? Somebody win Wimbledon again? The Shark win the Masters? Or you take it all the way to the Final Four with a championship?
I think right now, I'm just so proud, and this is the first time a game's ever been televised back to Australia. And if I've had some part of that, it just makes me really happy.
Ramon, this has been some tournament for you. You played so well all year long. The stats have not been here, but everybody in your team seems to be picking it up. What is it about this ball club that they're pulling together so well?
Well, we're like a family. I think the team is so together right now that anybody can come up and do the job, and this team is like a family. It's unbelievable how well we feel against each other.
Well, it's good luck for you that these two guys bumped into each other, PJ. They're doing a pretty decent job. Gerald, great ball game for you.
Yeah, and also by Gerald here. He did some of those little things that got the Hall back in. Now they'll go back and have some more interviews and come out and see who's going to win the Illinois-Michigan game. We'll send you up to Jim Nance.
All right, Brett, we know now that Championship Monday will be Big Monday. The Big East Seton Hall Pirates against the Big Ten winner coming up next. Michigan and Illinois. We'll continue from the Kingdome with more in just a moment.
We're here at the new Disney MGM Studios theme park for the premiere of the 1990 Chevy Luma. The Lumina sedan has the most passenger room in its class. And coming later this year, the Lumina Coupe and the new Lumina all-purpose vehicle with optional seating for 7, no matter what your size. Introducing the family Lumina from today's Chevrolet.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Chevy Lumina, official car of the Disney MGM Studios theme park.
See you real soon.
Billy is just bad. He come under the viaduct with his Reeboks and his boys. They call him Showtime, and he is the show. Stays in the air just as long as he wants to. Once, he raised on Big Ten. I mean, straight up, and just hangs there. Then fires this sweet jumper, spreads his arms, and I believe he said, I shoot like a god, right in Tim's face.
When the new legends are made, they'll be wearing Reeboks. In the village of Upper Nyack, the firemen fight fires with ladders and hoses. And a Murata fax machine. It's used to receive floor plans and detailed drawings of buildings so they can plan how to attack the fire before they get to the fire. Murata fax machines.
You're looking sharp, you're looking good. You've come so far, and we know how to make the most of who you are. Where the race is run, you're the champion. Gillette.
The Gillette Atra Plus system with the Lubra Smooth Strip for the best a man can get.
GM makes the dream. GMAC makes the dream yours. Ask your GM dealer how custom-tailored Smart Lease helps you drive home a lot of new car or truck without tying up a lot of money.
The dreams of America, GMAC.
Monday night, Seton Hall will play for the national championship. You talk about turnarounds. With 8.5 minutes left in the first half, Duke led the Pirates by the score of 26-8. For the last 28+ minutes of this ball game, Seton Hall outscored Duke 87-52, a 35-point turnaround. All right, after the game, just moments ago, our James Brown talked to the coach of the Duke Blue Devils, Mike Krzyzewski.
Coach, in the first half when your team was up by 18 and lost it down to about 5, were you really concerned given the deficit being cut like that?
Yeah, James, it was a disruptive game. You know, our bench helped us out to begin with, but they had to play more minutes. And in the foul trouble and Bricky's situation, it was a disruptive game for us. And then Seton Hall played great the last 30 minutes of the game, and they're physically stronger than we are. And especially today, with not having Robert there, and they took advantage of that. It was tough to score inside. They got us in foul trouble, and then just played outstanding basketball. They hit all their free throws. They beat us, and I congratulate them. They were better than we were, and they're a very good basketball. I mean, a hell of a basketball team because they had about 9 kids playing well today.
And Duke has now been to 7 Final Fours without ever winning a national championship. That's more Final Four appearances without winning the grand prize than any other school in NCAA history. Okay, we told you at halftime of the Duke-Seton Hall game about Glenn Rice. The pulled hamstring in the left leg. Looks like he'll be just fine, however. He is, from what we understand, going to be playing in this game against Illinois in the second game of our national semifinals. There is Glenn Rice. He is warming up and apparently ready to go. In fact, when the Wolverines arrived at the Kingdome here just about an hour ago, our Bill Raftery had a chance to talk with Glenn Rice about this hamstring injury.
Feel pretty good. I'm ready to go. I think the guys, we're going to work real hard out here today.
Come too far to have the leg bother you.
That's true, and it's not going to bother me today.
So he will be back and playing for Michigan and Illinois. We are counting down at the Kingdome to Michigan and Illinois, and we will continue after this word from your local station.
United Airlines, from the ground up, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
This is the Augusta National, the only home the Masters has ever known. Its legacy is unique, from its inspiring clubhouse to the deceptive beauty of Amen Corner. to the legendary walk up number 18. I've been coming here for over 20 years. To me, it's a very special place. A tradition unlike any other. The Masters on CBS Sports.
This is CBS.
If you'd like to get the Reebok Revenge, size 15, you can go to Foot Locker or gargantuan Green's Locker. Foot Locker, where else you gonna go? To see more of the hot styles in athletic footwear, you can go to Foot Locker, or you can go through these lockers. Foot Locker, where else you gonna go?
The boy who cried wolf.
Help! My Isuzu Trooper's stuck in the mud. Ha ha! My Trooper has four-wheel drive and a powerful engine, so it won't get stuck. Help! I can't fit all this firewood in my Trooper. Ha ha! It can carry all this and 5 adults. Help! Whoa! I'll never lie again. I'll never lie again. Help! Whoa!
Now you can save up to $900 on the versatile Trooper.
Tornado Safety, a Weather Center 4 special, Sunday on the 10 p.m. report.
Well, we are halfway through the break between games at the Kingdome. Seton Hall has already advanced to Monday night's championship game and awaits the winner of Illinois and Michigan about 20 minutes away. And the Wolverines huddling on the court, warming up. Both teams were out here earlier this morning with a shoot-around about 10 o'clock Seattle time. Went back to their hotels and returned just about an hour and a half ago. You know, one of the big stories by far in this tournament was the play of Princeton in the first round against Georgetown. The 16th seeded Tigers going against the 1 seed, the Georgetown Hoyas. For a while, it appeared that miracles would come true for Princeton as they were working the backdoor play to perfection. It was a clinic on textbook basketball as the Tigers took Georgetown to the limit. But with a chance to win it in the closing seconds, Alonzo Mourning stepped up with a huge block as Georgetown barely survived 50-49. And we're pleased to have with us the coach at Princeton, Pete Carrill. And Coach, now that you've had a couple of weeks to look back on that game, can you still believe how close it was? And even John Thompson said after the contest, your team deserved to win.
Well, I'm getting over it. The more I'm treated with all this kindness, the easier it is for me to forget what happened. I mean, I'm enjoying myself. Running this guy made me especially happy.
Talking about James Brown. James, he recruited you to Princeton.
Well, actually, Pete Carrill did recruit me when I was playing at Harvard, but he said he was overstocked with talent and would not accept me on his team.
Well, James, I said, I hope he's not the kind of guy that lets the truth get in the way of a good story, you know.
Coach, let me ask you, with the kind of performance that Princeton showed against Georgetown recently, of course, the NCAA is talking about eliminating bids for leagues like the CIAA, the MEAC, and the Ivy League. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I've been saying all along that I think they shouldn't do that. But I think that if you pressure the NCAA, it'll be counterproductive. You just have to hope that their decisions will be a wise one, and if they act wisely, we'll be okay for a long time.
Well, certainly you're the scholar on the bench. Whenever you get this many coaches together, like at the Final Four, and media types, rumors, of course, run rampant. Now, one of the rumors I've been hearing is that after 23 years at Princeton, you may possibly be going elsewhere. Any truth to that?
All my enemies have been trying to get me out of Princeton for the last 15 years. I can only say this. I will not go to another college for Princeton. If I ever decide that I've had enough of Princeton life, I would like to take a crack at the pros. Not as a head coach, because I don't have the energy level to do a good job, but maybe looking at me as an old-timer that can help somebody out, and that's what if I ever do, that's what I believe, that's what I do.
I've heard the professional ranks, Jimmy.
How about that? Coach, what about the team from New Jersey out here today, the Seton Hall Pirates? You, of all people, have to appreciate the defense that team plays.
Well, first of all, they're going under. The team is ready to go under. This guard, Gerald Green, says, fellas, I'm not going to let you do this. So he keeps them in there until they get organized. Then their defense starts to get very, very tough. They get some confidence on offense, and Andrew Gay starts to throw in some threes. the big guy for Lander gets in foul trouble. Before you know it, Duke's getting a little tired, a little anxious. Seton Hall's getting very confident, still playing very tough as they always have. It was a lesson in character, individual, team character. I never saw anything like it. It was electric, high voltage electricity.
Great composure. I'm going to show you one last clip now from that game against Georgetown and a few of the emotions you experienced that night.
All right. Did you see that? Oh my goodness. This guy.
Is that the same guy that's sitting here?
I don't know. I got a bad face. That's all I can tell you. I made it this long with it. Okay?
All right. Thank you, Coach, for joining us. We appreciate it. And we'll continue with our live coverage of the 1989 Final Four after this commercial. A word from our local stations and a report from CBS News in New York.
Your car was lucky to make it through March. It's barely running, and your luck is running out. Volkswagen's financing assistance plan can help. Everyone has a deal for you, but nobody has a plan. Except us. Volkswagen's new financing assistance plan can help you save up to $1,500 on a Volkswagen. You took the boss to lunch today. The career is taking you places, but your old car refuses to. Luckily, your local Volkswagen dealer can help.
Topping Supreme Pizza from Pizza Hut. Get one medium for $9.99 or two for just $4 more.
Look out!
Oh, God!
Because inquiring young minds want to know.
Do you think it's possible to lick your own eyeball?
It's homegrown comedy in America's Heartland. Monday right after Live-In.
This is CBS.
The base price of this Isuzu Trooper is $13,149. Of course, when you start adding features like a 2.6-liter fuel-injected engine, four-wheel drive, power steering, mud and snow steel-belted radials, triple skid plates, and reclining front bucket seats, the price may come as quite a shock. Still, just $13,149. And right now, you could save up to $900 on the versatile Isuzu Trooper 4x4.
Introducing the FZR 600 from Yamaha. Don't say we didn't warn you.
Ask about no money down financing on approved credit.
Good evening. From CBS News, I'm Steve Croft with a special edition of Newsbreak. An arrest warrant is out tonight for the captain of the tanker that caused the worst oil spill in U.S. history. The state of Alaska has formally charged Joseph Hazelwood with operating the ship, the Exxon Valdez, while drunk. CBS News reporter James Hattori is at the site of the spill.
Oil from the tanker Exxon Valdez continues to spread, but slowly thanks to calm weather. And slow is how impatient state officials describe Exxon's cleanup. Of 240,000 barrels spilled, 10,000 have been recovered.
Are you satisfied with the level of cleanup thus far?
No, there is not enough.
9 days into the oil spill, state officials are so frustrated, Governor Steve Cooper says Alaska will launch its own cleanup effort, putting additional crews on a state ferry near the oil spill. That despite Exxon's claims that it has more manpower than it can use right now.
And if we don't agree and we feel like certain things need to be done, we'll do it on our own hook.
The state today also has an arrest warrant out for Joseph Hazelwood, captain of the Valdez. He faces several misdemeanor charges. The state will seek extradition of Hazelwood, who's believed to be in New York State. On the remote islands around Prince William Sound, more oil-soaked animals are surfacing, indicating the true scope of the devastation. One state official calls it a fish and wildlife holocaust. James Hattori, CBS News, Valdez.
Equestrian footwear was flying in Washington today. President Bush officially opened the White House Horseshoe Pit. The president showed off his form for 150 invited guests, including some members of Congress and some national champion horseshoe pitchers. Daylight saving time officially begins overnight when 2 a.m. will become 3 a.m. So don't forget to set your clocks, watches, and VCRs ahead 1 hour. And that's some of today's news.
Good evening. This is a WCCO News Update. 3 of St. Paul's 7 wards held their nominating conventions for the city's mayoral race today. The man leaving the office, George Latimer, made a stop at the Ward 2 meeting at the Prom Expo Center. So far, James Scheibel has picked up the most delegates, winning almost half of those elected today. Wards 2 and 5 also held their conventions. The other 4 will hold theirs next Saturday. The city convention and the mayoral nomination set for May 20th. Within the next few years, Twin Cities neighborhoods will face a number of tough new issues. And to organize, community leaders sponsored a day-long workshop at the University of Minnesota to help ease neighborhoods into the 1990s. Discussions focused on how neighborhood groups can work with the police, the news media, and with City Hall. New bus fares kicked in for the Twin Cities today. The Metropolitan Transit Commission says it's trying to simplify the fare system. Now, under the new structure, the basic rush hour fare stays at 75 cents. To travel from the cities to the suburbs will cost an extra 25 cents, and express bus another 25. The MTC says its old fare structure was too complicated for riders. It had almost 30 different fares. The new system has only 6. The MTC says most customers will end up paying the same or less to ride the bus, but some will pay more, mainly those who take the express buses. The MTC says the new system could pull in 1 million new riders every year. A promising group of young inventors gathered at the Science Museum in St. Paul today to show off their latest inventions. But this group is different from most. All are under the age of 14. The youngsters' inventions will be on display at the Science Museum through April. A big pep rally winding up at this hour in St. Paul to root on the Hockey Gophers to a national championship. Minnesota battles Harvard at 7 at the Civic Center for the national title. And tonight at the Dome, the Twins take on the Cubs in exhibition baseball. The CCO Weather Center says it'll be partly cloudy with a low of 33 tonight. We'll have more news on the 10 p.m. report.
Yo, Holmes, yo, Holmes, yo, Holmes. Mars Blackman, chill of Air Jordan, who's been serving them hard jams all day with these thumping sneakers. Do you understand? These sneakers be housed across the country. Comprende? And every homeboy be bum rushing to get some. They're hyped, cabiche? And I ain't frontin'. So if you're ill and land to buy some, you'll be a toy. Am I making myself clear? New Air Jordans from Nike are here.
Mercedes-Benz was obsessed with safety engineering long before it became fashionable. Perhaps that's why, in a recent insurance industry study of 207 cars, this S-Class Mercedes had the best overall safety record. Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world.
Welcome back to the Kingdome in Seattle. It is game 2 of our national championship doubleheader, and it is a rematch between 2 Big Ten rivals, the Michigan Wolverines and the Fighting Illini of Illinois. The winner to take on Seton Hall Monday night for a national title. Well, welcome back, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger. Twice this year, Illinois has defeated Michigan handily. But think back to a year ago, Monday night in Kansas City. Oklahoma had dominated Kansas. They had beaten them twice. And remember what the Jayhawks did the third time, the charm. But Billy Packer, what you must have is talent. And Michigan right now has the most talented shooter in the NCAA tournament.
Well, they really do. Glenn Rice has been on fire. Of course, he's an all-American caliber player anyway, so it's not like this is something new for him. But right now, Glenn Rice in this tournament shooting 62% from the field. And look at what he's doing from the three-point range. I mean, he's not even doing anything but hitting all net. 61% from the three-point range.
He's the leading scorer in the NCAA tournament at 31 points a game. He has been truly outstanding and sets the pace for the nation's finest field goal shooting team.
Now, on the other side, Lou Henson. And I want to tell you something about Lou. This is the second team that he has brought to a Final Four. It was New Mexico State back in 1970. And those of you back in Illinois know what he did. He got the Chicago area talent to come back downstate and play for it. And he's got the remarkable leadership of Kendall Gill for this Illini team.
Kendall Gill, they were an undefeated club. Kendall goes down with an injury, out for a number of games. The only games they've lost this year is with Gill out of the lineup. With him in the lineup, they're 23-0. He is one of the players that can play on the perimeter, and of course, he's an interchangeable part defensively, making them a very tough team to match up with.
So the Wolverines come out of their locker room. And Billy, what about your analysis for this one?
Well, when we say lights out, so far it's been lights out for the opponents of Michigan. Can they continue to shoot at this torrid pace against Illinois' great defense?
How about the ill Illini?
That's right, the injury. We mentioned Gill out. It caused them a problem. Kenny Battle went down. That could be a big problem. And of course, Hamilton also is a problem potentially injury-wise.
Michigan makes a lot of mistakes, Billy.
They do. They made mental mistakes throughout the course of the year. They cannot afford to do that today, particularly Ramil Robinson on the break.
Send in the clones?
Well, the clones are the fact that there's so many interchangeable parts from this Illinois club. It's very difficult to orchestrate your offense against them.
Well, here they come. And coming your way soon, it'll be Michigan and Illinois. We'll be back with the starting lineups in a moment.
From Seattle, CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship. Tonight, the national semifinal games are sponsored by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. Merrill Lynch, an investment firm built on a tradition of trust. And by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet.
We're here at the new Disney MGM Studios theme park for the premiere of the 1990 Chevy Lumina. The Lumina sedan has the most passenger room in its class. And coming later this year, the Lumina Coupe and the new Lumina all-purpose vehicle with optional seating for 7, no matter what your size. Introducing the family Lumina from today's Chevrolet.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Chevy Lumina, official car of the Disney MGM Studios theme park.
See you real soon.
Renters, insure your boxer shorts from lightning, theft, fire, and more. Renters Insurance covers things like VCRs and TVs, too. Renters Insurance, another reason you're in good hands with Allstate.
If you're a business spending over $120 a month in long-distance services, and you think that you're saving 20 to 30% with another carrier, we want you to try AT&T Pro Watts. We'll waive the installation charges, waive the change charges, and if you're not satisfied and agree that we have the best value, price, and quality, at the end of 90 days, we'll pay to put you back on your other long-distance vendor. You can save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance. Call us, 1-800-222-0400.
Renters, insure your pajamas from fire, theft, explosion, and more. Renters Insurance covers things like computers and stereos, too. Renters Insurance, another reason you're in good hands with Allstate.
Looking at the skyline of our country's 4th largest market, Seattle, the pride of the great Northwest, and here at the Kingdome, Michigan got here out of the Southeastern Regional. And in those first 2 games, they trailed both at the half. Then they got blazing red hot in Lexington and shut down North Carolina and Virginia. As for Illinois, they survived a tough Midwest Regional, beating first McNeese State. Then when they got to Minneapolis, they handled Louisville and finally Syracuse by 3 points, 89-86. Now let's go back to Frank Fallon and meet our starting lineups for Game 2.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington, for tonight's National Championship semifinal game between the Michigan Wolverines and the Illinois Fighting Illini. Now, let's meet the starting lineups. For Michigan at a forward, a 6'7" senior from Flint, Michigan, number 41, Glenn Rice. For Illinois at forward, a 6'6" junior from Chicago, Illinois, number 25, Nick Anderson. For Michigan at forward, a 6'9" senior from Grand Rapids, Michigan, number 35, Loy Vaught. For Illinois at forward, a 6'6" senior from Aurora, Illinois, number 33, Kenny Battle. For Michigan at center, a 6'10" junior from Romulus, Michigan, number 52, Terry Mills. For Illinois at center, a 6'7" senior from Chicago, Illinois, number 45, Lowell Hamilton. For Michigan at guard, a 6'2" junior from Cambridge, Massachusetts, number 21, Rumeal Robinson. For Illinois at guard, a 6'4" junior from Madison, Illinois, number 13, Kendall Gill. For Michigan at guard, a 6'7" senior from Rosemont, Illinois, number 20, Mike Griffin. For Illinois at guard, a 6'6" junior from Carbondale, Illinois, number 35, Stephen Bardo. And introducing the head coaches. For Michigan in his first season, Steve Fisher. For Illinois in his 14th season, Lou Henson.
For Illinois, their first Final Four appearance since 1952. And for Michigan, since 1976. We'll be right back.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
What's taking you so long?
There's one taste that just can't be duplicated.
Michael, you just don't look yourself today.
Diet Pepsi. Taste that's generations ahead.
The long-term outlook holds the prospect of a leveling off, according to one.
The downward trend in savings by U.S. families continues to be a concern of
sharply higher today in heavy trading. Analysts say uncertainty in the bond markets due to the recent volatility.
Investments, savings, insurance. Planning for your family's future requires finding the right balance. That's why so many people put their trust in Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
The winner draws Seton Hall Monday night. You heard the earlier story about Glenn Rice pulling a hamstring muscle. He aggravated it during the shoot-around here yesterday in the Kingdome. He did receive treatment from the trainer. The coaching staff, Fisher, moments ago said he doesn't think it will affect him here this afternoon. But there was some concern on the part of the Wolverine staff yesterday. Now, Rice against Illinois has scored 30 points in game 1 and then was held to 14 in game 2. Illinois the higher seed, so they'll wear the home whites, and they have beaten Michigan the last 10 times. They have worn the home whites. They control the tap. Gill is 13. Bardo next to him is 35. Will bring it up and set the table. Hamilton out high. The Illini always picking up at the top of that circle, and they go to their half-court set. This is not a spectacular shooting team. They get a lot of it off offensive rebounds. They are great jumpers. None better than Battle, number 33.
He's playing with Mills down inside. Mills has him by about 4 inches.
Gill called for an offensive foul. Ted Hillary is our referee from Grand Rapids, Michigan. The umpires are David Jones from Gainesville, Florida, and Tom Harrington from Chico, California. Michigan's first possession, and the Illini set up their full court press.
And Battle guarding on the end line, one of the best at that position I've ever seen.
Here comes Robinson. He'll take it all the way, and it's knocked away and out of bounds.
We're going to talk about a lot of superlatives on these two ball clubs. Rumeal Robinson probably goes to the hole as a guard as well as anybody that's played in college ball in quite some time. There he is inside
for the game's first field goal. Bardo, 35.
What's going to be interesting early on is Illinois to see what Michigan team they're playing against, because this Michigan team emotionally is a lot different than the one they faced a few weeks ago.
Fisher over on the sideline for the Wolverines.
Bardo on Rice, and even with the switches, Illinois will not be mismatched because they're all about the same size. Now you see Battle on Rice.
Now Mills goes to work from the baseline. Misses, hustling after, loose. Michigan, Rice missing, and there's contact underneath. The first foul on Loy Vaught.
Glenn Rice rushed that shot a little bit, Glenn. He had plenty of time inside, but he knows how quick on the interior defense Illinois is, and that might have caused him to put it up a little too quick. Great man-to-man.
4 Illinois starters from the Chicago area. Rich as any talent vet in the country. Battle up with that jump shot. Now left-handed jumper. He's a transfer out of Northern Illinois. This is his senior year down in Champaign. Robinson cut off by Gill. Now draws the double team. Comes back after it's deflected and stays with it. And Illinois got a piece of it, but Michigan with possession, and Rice misses the 3. Out of bounds. Michigan's ball.
Second shot that Glenn Rice rushed a little bit. And you notice Kenny Battle on that last press chased Robinson all the way down the court.
He moves to one of his favorite spots and bangs in the 3.
Much better balance on that shot.
And it was a 2. They said that he was up on that line. That is not a 3. Nick Anderson missing. And brought down with the rebound for the Wolverines. They lead it 4-2 here in the early going. Rice again, and it rims in and out, and Hamilton yanks it away. Gill is ahead on the left, but Bardo did not want to try the dangerous pass. Instead, he buries the 3.
Very underrated player. Takes the toughest assignment on defense, but can hit the shot from the outside, and a good ball handler. Kind of a forward guard. You know, nobody on this team really has a set position.
Griffin always looking for the pass. They were sloughing off hit. Bott misses, and Illinois with 4 white jerseys crashing to the defensive board that time. They'll send 4 at the offensive end frequently too. Battle wants it.
He thinks he can take Mills one-on-one with his quickness.
He drew the personal. There's what happened in the first 2 games. Illinois averaging better than 90 points and hitting 55% while holding Michigan to 47. Everything with Lou Henson starts at the defensive end.
You know, and Brennan, when you look at Michigan statistically this year, playing basically against the same competition, they're shooting 57% from the field. They're shooting 47% from the three-point line, 73% from the foul line. I don't know if we've had a better statistical ball club shooting-wise than Michigan in a long time.
Illinois not bothered by the jitters here early. They've hit 2 of 3. Michigan only 2 of 9, but Michigan's done a good job on the glass in the early going.
Griffin is going to have to put up a shot. They're not playing him at all defensively.
Illinois' ball. Over to Battle, looking for daylight. Pulls it up.
Well, we've mentioned this before. Now watch this press. Battle is the best that I've seen. He knows and makes the determination if he wants to double team or not right off the bat.
Gill reached in, forced the turnover. Anderson comes back.
Nice fake.
And he drew the foul from Griffin. Now when they substitute for Griffin, they'll get Sean Higgins probably off that Michigan bench over there. Fisher will have to try that rotation.
I think he'll wait a while before he does that because Griffin gives him the better defense until the game settles down. I felt that Ramil tripped a little bit. Yes, he did. See, he tripped on Gill's ankle, and that's what put him to the floor rather than a steal. And on this Illinois club, 7 players have 20 or more steals on the year, so anybody can attack the ball in this club.
Illinois with an early lead, 10-4. And Rice is 1 of 4 from the field. Robinson is 1 of 3.
The automatic switch on every pick.
Bott from the right baseline, his first field goal.
Bott did not start in this South Alabama game, but he has had a great season.
Keeping it alive at the offensive end, and back to Kendall Gill with that smooth jump shot.
You notice another thing Illinois does, they can send 5 men to the board, but normally 4, and their guards, Bardo and Gill, are great offensive rebounders.
Mills is free underneath. It won't stay down. Gill's got it in the middle. Michigan's back defensively.
Terry Mills should have gone for the dunk on that play and not worried about getting his shot blocked. Battle's got him on his hip. They can get him the ball anytime they want to. That's dangerous.
Here comes Battle. away by Vaught, hands off to Robinson. Illinois with that great team quickness back defensively. So Robinson pulls up the jump shot. 2 field goals for Ramil here in the first half. It's 12-8 Illinois.
That's what he's doing better now with his experience as a point guard, is pulling up on that break instead of taking everything to the hole where he was drawing a lot of charges.
And that is Gill.
Some good back picks by Illinois. Tough team to guard because everybody is so interchangeable. They set the screen, they're all quick. There they set you set a screen and they switch, and you've got a man on you just like the one you left.
Maybe as good a switching defensive team as there has been in college basketball this season.
Nice pump fake.
Griffin puts it up outside, not getting some firepower from that spot. Off into the hands of Battle. Knocked out of bounds, and it's Illinois' ball. We've got a timeout. We come back, we will see substitutions for both teams.
Anyone care for an ice cold bud?
And where does she come from?
We're here at the new Disney MGM Studios theme park for the premiere of the 1990 Chevy Lumina. The Lumina sedan has the most passenger room in its class. And coming later this year, the Lumina Coupe and the new Lumina all-purpose vehicle with optional seating for 7, no matter what your size. Introducing the family Lumina from today's Chevrolet.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Chevy Lumina, official car of the Disney MGM Studios theme park. See you real soon.
If you've got yourself a car and you've got yourself a house, you could be on your way to some very nice savings. Because with Allstate Homeowners Insurance and an excellent driving record, you could save up to 15% on your auto insurance. And 15% could mean big money for all the important little things.
What a day.
What a day.
The Allstate Auto Advantage. Another reason. A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Hey kids, ever try to spin a basketball? Maybe this kid from New Jersey can teach the new Live-In Nanny the trick. Catch the comedy for all ages. Live-In, Monday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Replaces Terry Mills.
Well, the finest shooting college team of all time is way below that percentage here this afternoon. In the early going, the Wolverines have hit only 2 of their first 9, or 31%. And Illinois jumps off at 56% at the early moments.
Brent, a good idea for Steve Fisher to start thinking early of setting some double screens so that Glenn Rice can come out from behind him to get a few jumpers off.
Anderson drawing the foul. And that on Griffin is his 2nd personal foul.
Talking to Denny Crum yesterday, he said that he felt that Illinois is the best interior passing team that any of his clubs have ever faced. We just saw an example of that.
Sean Higgins in the game at 14:37. He ambushed Virginia with 31 points during that regional final down in Lexington. They certainly expected Rice to explode on them, but not Sean Higgins off Coach Fisher's bench.
And I think in the case of Higgins, if you're Steve Fisher, you're praying over there he hits his first one, because he's a player that has been up and down this year. Has had a stretch of 6 games, 7 games where he couldn't score at all, then can explode for 31 against a club like Carolina.
They turned it over, and Smith had just checked into the game for Coach Henson. That is Larry Smith. He's a junior from Alton, Illinois. Every scholarship player in the Fighting Illini hails from that state.
Smith had 8 points and 6 assists the last time these 2 clubs played, so you can see what Coach Henson's thinking about.
Hamilton steps out, uses the screen by Anderson, doesn't get it to fall, and Vaught off with the rebound. Vaught and Hughes are up front. Mills is out right now for Michigan.
basically playing with all forwards, no low postmen. Now you see they've got an open offense.
Ball was short. Illinois rebound. Smith bringing it up on Robinson.
Game a little fast-paced for Michigan right now. Favors Illinois because they can't get Rice in their half-court offense.
Foul is against Robinson, his first of the game. And that is the team's 5th. In talking to Coach Henson yesterday, you got the feeling that he was extremely confident. You know, a lot of coaches are very wary when they have beaten someone twice and they're trying to do it a third time. We did not get that impression from Henson at all. He liked the matchups. He thinks that this Illinois team is one of the hardest working teams he's ever been around. Knocked away from Hamilton, but he's got it back. Foul. Mills who had returned, but he has not called for it.
Right, Higgins got him from behind. Let's see if there's some screens set to get Rice going.
Higgins will try it himself. Anderson, who had 16 rebounds against Syracuse, yanked that one down. Simeon High School. The 3 from Bardo is short. Michigan with Hughes rebounding, getting it into Robinson's hands. Down by 8. Illinois 16, Michigan 8. 13 minutes remaining here in the first half.
Here's that box.
And a block against Illinois. Smith's first.
It was a foul on Smith, but boy, did he move his feet on that particular play, because Robinson made the good crossover dribble and he almost got there in time. Both teams playing man-to-man out of bounds.
Higgins goes one-on-one for the second time, and Smith yanks it away. Wanted Anderson. He went jumping up and collided, and he may be called for the foul. Yes, he is. Even if it's unintentional, Nick, it's still a foul.
Well, it was a foul. He made. If you make the contact to gain an advantage, which is exactly what happened on that play, it's got to be a foul. The ball slipped out of Smith's hands. He had a pretty good chance on the break to convert. And since Illinois has not been scoring of late, they've not been able to get into their press.
And Higgins finds the three-point range. His first field goal. He's not shy, is he?
No, he isn't, and that's a good sign, too, because he missed the first three, put up there, and came right back, showing that he's got that confidence level.
Anderson got around Rice, who reached back in, but he has turned it over on the dribble. And Anderson frustrated right now.
Well, one of the things we're seeing here by Michigan is some excellent defense, because they're making Illinois do everything one-on-one. They've gotten out of their pattern. Notice Higgins stayed back so that there was a pass available to Robinson just in case he got double teamed.
Here's Rice.
Count it.
Some stroke, isn't it?
They've gone a long time without going for a set pattern to get Glenn Rice open.
He's 2 of 5 in this game. Battle is 2 of 3. Hamilton has missed all 4 of his shots so far. Bardo trying to get it inside along the baseline, and he was fouled by Higgins. Game 2 of our national semifinal. Earlier today, Seton Hall eliminated Duke. Seton Hall will play the winner of this one Monday night. You notice Irvin Small, Billy, excuse me, the 6'7" junior from Simeon. Same high school that produced Anderson and also the late Ben Wilson, and Marcus Liberty, other of the talented players out of that particular area. He's out of King High School in Chicago, a sophomore. He'll let Anderson have a little break right here. He's been frustrated looking for his first field goal in this game.
I think that Nick was a little bit impatient offensively, and that's a good reason to sit him down, let him relax. You notice the last 2 times down the floor, Illinois set up in a pattern, a little box pattern, to get away from that one-on-one play.
And the refs have warned Nick on the floor about throwing any wild elbows underneath. So a strong move by Henson just to let him take a little blow, and he'll be back soon. 18-13, Illinois with the lead. Robinson bringing it up against pressure, gets it into Rice's hands. Mills whips the pass to Higgins. Yanked away now by Illinois. come to Liberty down the baseline, but he threw it right into the passing lane where Rice was.
That's nice, smart play defensively by Rice, keeping his eye on the ball and his man. Glenn Rice starting to be more active, moving without the ball now to try to get open.
And Hughes hits the jump shot. And Michigan pulls to within 3 at the 10:57 mark.
As I said, Brent, Illinois going to find this is a different Michigan team than the one they played in Ann Arbor.
Liberty moving to his left that time. Missing in the corner. Michigan running it down. And they pick it up on the move. And here's Rice. The pull-up. Oh.
If kids are watching and want to know the fundamentals of shooting a jump shot as far as squaring up with your body and your feet and then the follow through with your hands, nobody's doing it any better than Glenn Rice. Back to a lot of internal screening now goes Illinois.
Small one to get it in deep, and he does to Smith. Shot is not there, so they go back to Bardo. Liberty punches in low to Battle. Yanked away by Mills. Michigan doing a good job of rebounding, not letting Illinois play volleyball in this game. It's 18-17. Wolverines can take the lead. This is a 12-2 run over the last 4 minutes by Michigan. Robinson free.
Great head fake. He throws small with a good head fake and ball fake on that move.
Michigan up 1 at the 9:30 mark. And much of this has been accomplished with Kendall Gill over there on the Illinois sideline.
He's coming back in here shortly, try to get something going on the perimeter. You can see the defense is now packing back inside the foul line because nobody's taking the outside jump shot.
The Illinois weakness. They search and search for that perimeter shooter. Vaught will check in for Michigan, and Gill returns for Illinois. We've got a timeout.
American business can save millions of dollars every year with the UPS Next Day Air letter. Unlike other companies which frequently charge up to $14, UPS, because we're so efficient, charges only $8.50. And we guarantee overnight delivery to every address, coast to coast. The UPS Next Day Air letter, the super saver of overnight letters.
Who says Chevy beats Ford? USAC tested Chevy's compact S10 with available Vortec V6 against 2 full-size Fords with standard 6 and available V8. 0 to 60, towing identical trailers, Chevy S10 beat both full-size Fords. That's pickup power.
And if a compact Chevy S10 with a V6 can out-accelerate a full-size Ford with a V8, imagine what it can do against Ford's little truck.
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevy truck.
What is the taste of dry? It's bold, clean, and less sweet. The taste of dry is Michelob Dry, brewed longer, so taste after taste. There's just no aftertaste. Michelob Dry, bold taste with no aftertaste.
A gentleman who will not jump and cheer any field goal. The outgoing commissioner of the Big Ten, Wayne Duke, and he was telling me that back in 1979 when Michigan State won the national championship, they took home less dollars from that tournament than schools like Northwestern will receive this year because of the great success of the 5 teams from the Big Ten. 2 of them getting all the way to the championship round.
And Brent, give him and a guy by the name of Willis Casey a great deal of credit for the guys behind expanding the tournament, taking multiple teams from given conferences and moving people geographically out of their areas.
Ball movement on the inside gives Illinois an easy field goal after a timeout. Sign of good coaching. Smith comes up with it.
Here comes the press. Now, you notice Battle that time said, okay, Ramil Robinson's got a good angle, so I won't double team. Battle makes that decision on his own.
Higgins Very confident young man out of the Los Angeles area. Rice coming down the baseline.
This is something we did not see out of Terry Mills throughout the course of the season and in his collegiate career. A very confident post move. He makes the move. He sees Rice coming back door, makes the great dish. Of course, Rice, who you anticipate is going to stay out on the perimeter, made the good backdoor cut. Excellent play by Terry Mills, who is long forecast to be one of the key players in the country.
Rice completes the three-point shot. He's hit his last 3 from the field. He's up to 9 points, averaging better than 30 for the tournament. And he has given the Wolverines a 2-point lead inside of 8.5 minutes in the first half. Fisher barking defensive calls out. They get it into Hamilton low, knocked away by Higgins and out of bounds.
Brent, I don't know if Higgins realized what defense they were supposed to be in that time, but it worked out perfectly for his club. He was playing a little one-man zone. Now they go back to man-to-man on the out-of-bounds situation. Kenny Battle would like a lob.
Anderson, who has returned, doubled up, so they move it around to Smith. Smith glides. Caught. Has control. Now it's Robinson. Back to Mills, who's running the break to Higgins. Terry Mills brings the break.
That's a 6'10" guard. I'm looking one way, passing another play.
Look at Fisher over there barking out defensive calls to this team. Indeed, what a different Michigan team playing defense, rushing out on Hamilton, guarding up on the glass, not giving Illinois offensive rebounds. Now it's Robinson.
And Wisely pulls up. A few weeks ago, he'd have tried to take that all the way and draw the charge.
Rice on the turnaround. Caught going for the offensive rebound, lost control, Illinois ball.
Brent, I want to check this defense down the other end because Michigan looks like they're throwing something at Illinois that they're not sure of right now. We see Ramil Robinson's playing his man. Higgins is playing a little bit of a zone. Looks like they're playing.
You know what that is? It's a freak.
3 and 2, right?
Comes up.
They're playing a triangle and 2.
Battle coming down the line and got a foul. And on Mills, his second.
Foul is charged to number.
Well, the women are playing their Final Four close by, and that's a rematch between two Southeastern Conference powers, Auburn and Tennessee. Auburn won the first meeting between those two, and then Tennessee, coached so capably by Pat Summitt, came back and won the second one. Both of them advancing, and tomorrow afternoon they'll play the championship game in Tacoma. Bardo is returned. Battle hits the free throw, and it's 24-21. You know, hey, Billy, if this continues, we just take a pencil and erase that name interim at halftime.
Well, I would think that that decision has already been made one way or the other because Steve Fisher worked there for 7 years. They ought to know what he's capable of doing even before he took this team to the Final Four.
Higgins. Potts got an offensive rebound.
Well, it's a big team that Michigan has on the floor, and the size advantage is starting to tell right now.
Rice missing. He had a hand in his face that time. Hamilton brings it down. Illinois not getting it done here at the offensive end. They trail it by 2. They've hit only one of their last 10 shots. Turn it over again. Here they come. Off Mills to Rice. Rice, he was too close. He should have backed it up about 20 feet. And Bo says, how can you not bang that one in? You talk about a football man who's become a basketball fan here in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, what was his initial comment? Rennie said he'd rather be watching spring football, but he's changed his tune in the last 3 weeks.
Demetrius Caleb in for the first time here today. What was it Bo said in that television tape that I saw that was filmed by one of the Detroit stations? We want Illinois. Illinois said yesterday in practice, Bo, you got us. So here we go. Bardo's got it. Open man is Gill. Caleb will take a foul. Give him the basket and bring him to the free throw line. I thought Caleb was going to let him have the field goal. If you're going to do that, wrap him up and don't let him shoot it.
And Steve Fisher going to talk to him a little bit just to calm him down over there. And it was not good judgment. Now, Ramil Robinson lost the handle. Very smart play by Bardo, realizing that Gill had already broken long. And if you're Caleb right in this one, your best bet is just to let the man lay it up.
Now Henson's back with his starting rotation.
There we go.
Gill has given him a lead. You would expect Fisher would want to finish with a rotation somewhat similar to this. Vaught lays it up at the other end. His second field goal.
That was a difficult shot, catching the ball, and before you come down, lay it up because you're going so hard onto the basket. And here they are. They're matching up in that back line out of a little 1-3-1, and they're playing Kenny Battle man-to-man.
Anderson looking into Gill. Battle went down, and that foul is against Hughes. And Hughes is telling the official that he was grabbing my jersey.
Well, you can see Hughes going to take Kenny Battle. He's playing him one-on-one. Now Kenny sets the solid screen for Gill coming back over the side, and Hughes runs right over him.
For Illinois, Kenny Battle shooting 1-1.
That's a nice offensive maneuver to get Gill free right there, because you assume Battle's running to the corner. When he peels back to set the screen, it's tough to defend.
Michigan continues to do a superb job rebounding. They're staying dead even with the Fighting Illini. Caleb off the fake. Hangs. Short. Vaught puts it back. Won't stay down. And Battle was hammered as he came away with that rebound.
But as Kenny Battle's second leap was a quick one.
They work the baseline with Anderson.
All Big Ten players showed you why on that one.
That was a power move, wasn't it? Robinson.
Steve Fisher has Rice on the sideline. Really needs him into the game right now.
Hughes threw an elbow to knock Battle's hands away, and he picks up his second personal foul. Mills with 2, Griffin with 2, and Higgins with 2 along with Hughes. Watch the elbow being swung.
Fighting for position down here. Hughes trying to hold him off of the elbow. Pretty good acting jab that time by Kenny Battle. And he picks up the foul on it. You know, Illinois has been an excellent free throw shooting team this year, shooting 70%, but in the NCAA tournament, they've been down to 58% from the foul line, and in the last 3 games, shooting just 50%.
Elbows won't be tolerated. 1-1.
Bangs in the front end. The winner here in this one will take on Seton Hall.
Release, guys.
Seton Hall advancing 95-78 after trailing by 18 points in the first half.
That's some difference also in the shooting percentage. They shoot 71% in the second half, and Duke shoots down under 35.
It's a 3-point lead by Illinois.
Time for Rice to get squared up for another jump shot.
Hughes tracks it down. Bardo on Higgins. Robinson with a great pass, and Angie Fisher, the wife of the Michigan coach, appreciated that one. 6 points for Vaught. Missing the 3, and Vaught knocking the ball away from Hamilton at the end line. We've got a TV break at the 4:29 mark, and we'll be right back.
Alan, here's a record of a Northwestern Mutual policy your mother and I took out on you when you were born.
Wow, the face value's almost tripled.
That's because for the last 50 years, they've ranked #1 in dividend performance, more times than any other company.
Well, they should let more people know that.
After 6 hours of school, I had enough for the day. I hit the radio dial.
With the designed-in sound of a Delco Electronics music system, now the best seat in the house is in your GM car or truck. Delco Electronics, it's who we are.
Topping Supreme Pizza from Pizza Hut. Get 1 medium for $8.99 or 2 for just $4 more.
We switched from Ford to Chevy.
Listen to the heartbeat of America.
We have to have equipment that will hold up to the job, and the Chevy does it. we're generally pulling something, and generally it's pretty heavy. We use them hard, and they stand up to it. And we do it all day long, and we don't worry about it. Now, that's what we have to have in a truck out here to get the job done.
That's the Day's Chevy truck.
1986, Jack Nicklaus, an inspiring charge, an unprecedented 6th green jacket, a tradition unlike any other. The Masters on CBS Sports.
Brent, a great fast break situation going right here. I want to watch how fellas will fill the lanes, and most of all, watch the situation right here where Terry Mills becomes, instead of a 6'10" center, a 5'10" guard with a great dish on the break. Beautiful no-look pass to Higgins for the layup.
Now Michigan bringing it up against that Illinois pressure. But so far, not only has he scored 6, but he's pulled down 9 rebounds in this game for the Wolverines. Higgins has it knocked out of bounds. Michigan's ball.
You know, I love what Steve Fisher is doing against that press. He's keeping Higgins all the way back behind Robinson as the outlet pass, which takes away the effectiveness of the Battle's double team.
Here's Rice. This is a 3.
Three-point basket by
Bardo was right in his face.
And Bardo brings it back down, and he's cut off at the other end. Michigan leading it by 31-29 at the 4-minute mark of the first half.
Michigan back to straight man-to-man now. Not guarding Kenny Battle when he goes out to set screens.
Anderson gets it into Hamilton. And another rebound for Michigan.
Hughes and Vaught have really been something off the boards on the inside.
So much of Illinois' game built around their success at the offensive rebounding end. Rice with the jump, yanked away by Hamilton.
Notice how Gill affected Rice's shot that time, made his elbow fly on out, so he didn't have the normal shot.
Anderson kind of forced that shot again. At the end. Didn't have the good shooting stroke with it, did he? But he stays right with it and steals it and comes in with a jam.
Big turnaround there because Rice was open on the other end of the floor.
Now they've stolen it. And Battle couldn't get it to fall. But the foul is going to go against Michigan. But what a great defensive effort on the last 2 possessions by Nick Anderson. He had a shot that was out of sync, and he went right back in to get it, but then dug one out in the corner.
Brent, I was watching Steve Fisher on that exchange. He stayed very calm on the sidelines, never showed any emotion at all. The kind of thing that would give your team confidence. Okay, we made some mistakes, but it's not the end of the world. Maybe one of the reasons these kids like playing for him. Very calm expression sitting over there. Great demeanor. Much like P.J. Carlesimo and Mike Krzyzewski showed in the first game.
With Hughes out now, Vaught, Mills, Higgins, Rice, and Robinson.
There's the switch by Hamilton, not quick enough for Robinson.
Battles his way in and missed the shot, but it was hit last by Illinois. So Michigan can set up an out-of-bounds play.
You know, Brent, that's an exchange that I think Robinson can take advantage of. When Hamilton switches out on him, he ought to pull the ball back out a little further and then take him to the hoop.
Great block by Illinois. Gill comes down in the middle. Gets it over to Anderson. Got in a little bit too far. And Ramil Robinson to Higgins, who wanted to jam, and he's taken down by Bardo.
Is Higgins showing us something? That was Kenny Battle falling down there, but Higgins is really showing some talent. He was a high school All-American that everybody wanted. We know about the Kentucky situation where they were so actively involved in recruiting him. He goes on to Michigan, and so far in the NCAA tournament, particularly in the last week and a half, he has been outstanding. You know, he plays like he's 6'5", but he's 6'9" with all that quickness. big Michigan team on the floor. 6'10", 6'9", 6'8", 6'7", and Ramil Robinson. So they've got a big advantage in height on Illinois.
Anderson buries that jumper.
25, Nick Anderson.
Only 5 team fouls against Illinois. 2:12 to go. So they've got one to give. Gill picks up Robinson. Here's Ramil in low.
Nice fake.
Look at that strength.
The ball fake throws the entire Illinois defensive squad.
And it goes against Illinois. Offensive foul. And that's the second on Bardo.
Brent, with just 1 minute and 40 seconds to go in this half, Illinois knows this is not the Michigan team that they beat twice. It is a different ball club. Same bodies, same uniforms, but a different spirit and emotion.
Smith returning. Illinois won that first game in Champaign, 96-84, then routed Michigan and Ann Arbor. Very unusual for that to happen, 89-73. Robinson loses it, and Gill scoops it to Smith.
One of the few times that Ramil has tried to take the ball too far inside. He's been pulling up on the outside, the top of the key, and getting the offense started.
Look inside to Mills. As well as he's played, that's his first field goal. He's done some of the little things that folks have wondered about. Passing the ball well, rebounding, playing some defense. Gill now cut off from coming to baseline.
Great help by Rice.
Smith missed everything, but Anderson was there. He has scored 11 points, as has Battle. They have led Illinois to a 1-point lead. Robinson. And he was fouled. He'll come to the free throw line. Hamilton got him his first.
He's fearless taking that ball to the hoop. Now, when he sees an opening like this, no need to pull up. Nobody can get there to him. He's got the incredible body strength up top. Great quickness and dexterity with the ball. And doesn't mind going in. He's fearless. Doesn't mind going up against anybody.
Shooting one.
Ramil sat out his freshman year, as did Mills.
Griffin has been sent into the game. And Mills taken out by Michigan for this last second shot opportunity in case they need an additional 3-point shooter. And they also do not want Mills to pick up his 3rd foul here in the last 30 seconds. So Fisher, thinking ahead, has taken one of his big men out right now.
And Griffin is a good defender, so a good play all the way around by Steve Fisher.
Bringing it down. The last shot here of the first half. Illinois trailing it by a point. And here comes Smith. Anderson over Griffin. Caught rebounding. And Michigan leads Illinois at the half. Illinois built an 8-point lead. But at the end of the first half, Michigan leads them 39-38. And our coverage of this basketball championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by GTE. At GTE, the power is on. Right Guard Sports Stick from Gillette. Antiperspirant and deodorant. Anything less would be uncivilized. And by Pizza Hut, official corporate sponsor of the NCAA.
In Germany's justly celebrated automotive industry, it is a particular accomplishment for a car to win an automotive award. It is doubly an accomplishment if it's not a German car. This year, Germany's highly prestigious Golden Steering Wheel Award was given to the highly affordable Mitsubishi Mirage. The Germans would have preferred that it be one of their own, but in the end, everybody loves a winner.
Mobile communication,
It is the power to hold your world together. At GTE, we can put that power at hand to take with you where it has never gone before. Into the skies, down endless highways, beyond all past limitations. At GTE, we give you the freedom of personal communication and the power of new opportunities. Because at GTE, the power is on.
This kind of love is mythical. It's anything but typical. Simply irresistible. Simply irresistible, man. There's no other way to go. Simply irresistible.
It's ever so tough being ranked #1 and not being rank. What assists me is the maximum protection and aromatically airy scents of Right Guard Sports Stick from Gillette. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Terranova. I'm gonna keep pushing till I get a response. Inside a world where everything and everyone has a price.
Oh, you bad boy.
And where the bottom line can be your life.
I'm not gonna let these vinyl vampires beat me.
On Wise Guy, Wednesday.
This is CBS.
Hey, baseball fans, where can you see a Tom Berenger pickoff?
Zipper on your skirt stuck.
A Charlie Sheen slider?
What league you been playing in? California Penal.
A Corbin Burnson double play? And yours truly, Bob Uecker in the booth. Only in Major League. The comedy out of left field that'll blow you right out of the bleachers. So watch out for the opening day of Major League.
Rated R. Starts Friday, April 7th at theaters everywhere.
The destructive force of a tornado can destroy an entire neighborhood in just seconds. This year, keep ahead of the storm. Watch a series of reports on tornado safety beginning Sunday at 10.
It is halftime at the Kingdome, second game of the national semifinals, with Michigan holding on to a 1-point lead over Illinois. There have been 17 lead changes in the first half of this ball game, and Lowell Hamilton for the Illini is 0 for 7 from the floor and has not scored a single point. Now, the winner of this game will take on Seton Hall Monday night for the national championship. In the first game here at the Kingdome, early in the action, Robert Brickey went down with an injury. He was not effective the rest of the way. In fact, did not return until the second half. But Danny Ferry had his team up at one point, 26-8. An 18-point lead that evaporated as back came Seton Hall. Darrell Walker on the follow. Andrew Gaze from outside started lighting up the threes. It ends up in a 95-78 victory for the Pirates of Seton Hall and coach Peter John Carlissimo. And PJ, did you ever think when it was 26-8 and you were down at that point you'd be sitting here?
No, I didn't think so, Jimmy. I'm not that smart. We just wanted to start playing. We were struggling. Duke was not letting us play well, and the kids might have been a little nervous, but I think it was really Duke's defense and Duke playing with a lot of poise. And there was so much time left, and we were down so many points, you couldn't think of that. You just wanted to start playing the way we're capable of playing, and let's at least be in a basketball game.
What was the main thing that turned it around for you guys?
I thought after the second timeout, I think Gerald Green kept us in the game when we were struggling. If it wasn't for him, we might have been shut out in the first 10 minutes. But we came out of the second timeout, and we got a putback basket. Ramon Ramos, I think, got a rebound and stuck it in. And then we got a steal off our press. Darrell Walker scored. And I think it was the first time in the game that we kind of took a deep breath and said, okay, we've just put together 2 good possessions. Let's start playing basketball.
If there is one thing we've learned in this tournament is that P.J. Carlissimo coaches a team that plays great defense. Who was your guru when it came to coaching defense? Who did you learn from?
I think probably going back to my high school coach, Jack Gallagher, and I think he got most of his teaching from Bobby Knight, and Michael's helped us. Mike Krzyzewski over the years, you watch the things Duke does, and I'd ask Mike over the summer, but I think we're doing things the same way we've always done them. We just have better players, and they're working harder.
All right, what are the plans now in the next day and a half leading up to Monday night?
Well, maybe enjoy this for a couple of hours, but then we have to start breaking down tapes tonight for one of these great teams, and then we'll go over with the kids tomorrow. We'll practice tomorrow afternoon, and we're not going to go too hard, but we got to acquaint them with the way these teams play. It's so much different your first game in a weekend. This is the 3rd straight weekend, and you have 4 or 5 days to get ready for the first team, and you really have an idea. You can take your time, and the kids are really familiar. This way, it's not that at all. You look quick, you go through it tomorrow, and you show up and play Monday night.
BJ, you told me yesterday, walking by here at practice, I'd like to be sitting with you at halftime of that second game. And here you are. Congratulations.
Thanks, Jimmy. We're very fortunate. We got great kids, and they work hard.
All right, we'll look forward to Monday night. Seton Hall going for the national championship here at the Kingdome. We'll continue with more halftime festivities on CBS in just a moment.
To obtain an official NCAA 1990 Final Four ticket application, call 913-339-1990 until 10 p.m. Central Time tonight, or write to 1990 Final Four Tickets, Post Office Box 1906, Mission, Kansas 66201. Applications must be received by April 30th, 1989. This message furnished by the NCAA.
The issue of integrity in sport has never been more important. As I look at the stance the NCAA has taken over the years concerning student athletes, I believe its main thrust has been to provide a structure to ensure that these unique individuals are making the same strides towards preparation for life as other students. Some of them have experienced academic and social difficulties, but the difficulties reported to the general public affect fewer than 1% of the total number of student athletes. I personally feel it's unfair that all student athletes are discredited due to the actions of a few. I think it's important to realize that these are young people who are undergoing one of the biggest challenges in life, the challenge of juggling academic performance and athletic competition.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
Back at the Kingdome, and welcome back as Michigan leads 39-38 over Illinois at the intermission. You know, the Final Four is a favorite stop for the media, and there's keen competition to generate scoops. But have no fear, nothing escapes the trained lenses of our CBS Sports cameras, as you'll see in this latest edition of the ever-popular Final Four newsreel.
Yes, folks, set down your popcorn. It's time for a special edition of the Final Four Newsreel. We begin this installment with a moving story of history in the making, Final Four history, that is. How do you capture half a century of memories? In a portable museum containing hundreds of cherished photos, programs, and other memorabilia. It's the next best thing to being at the game, although some might say it's better because it's free.
You know, people never save anything. The thing I've told people now about the 80s and 90s is save everything, because 20 years from now, the new guy is going to want this kind of stuff for his exhibit.
Well, you can't save what you don't have, and there are an awful lot of folks combing the Emerald City for these precious jewels. Why, locating two on the aisle is like finding, well, a needle in a haystack. With fans paying up to $1,500 a seat, it's buyer beware.
They could very easily be a victim either of a stolen ticket or counterfeit ticket. We found it to be a relatively trouble-free event. Really the largest problem is traffic.
Getting to the games themselves means overcoming gridlock in downtown Seattle. But folks, we told you all along that the road to the Final Four would not be easy.
NCAA Transportation, Claudia speaking.
Here in the Traffic Nerve Center, volunteers dispatch hundreds of buses, cars, and limousines to move the teams, their coaches, and the VIPs. They keep this show on the road.
We've been planning this for about 9 months. So we've been involved in the road to the Final Four a lot longer than the teams have themselves.
And so that wraps up this special edition of the Final Four Newsreel, your unblinking eye for the unusual and the exotic as we bring down the curtain on another season in the world of college hoops.
Well, I think we're destined for a traffic jam in about an hour. No one's going to leave this one. It's a one-point game at halftime. Michigan leading over Illinois 39-38. Next stop outside of the Illinois locker room. And standing by there is my colleague, James Brown. James?
All right, Jimmy, good expression you used there, traffic jam. As a matter of fact, in talking with the Illinois coaching staff, two things concern them in the first half. One, Michigan, far too many points on the inside from their front court. 22 of the 39 points by the front court. Secondly, Illinois could not get its patented fast break working well at all as a a result of that. Oh, of interest to you, Jim, in the first 2 meetings between these squads, Illinois was leading at the half. That's not the case now. We'll find out if that holds true or means anything in the second half. Now let's check in with Leslie Visser.
Thanks, James. I spoke with Michigan assistant Mike Boyd, and he said the Wolverines have pretty much done what they had to do. They limited Illinois' transition game, and they played the press pretty well till the end of the first half. He said the key to the second half will be that Michigan has to turn it up a notch. We'll see if that happens. Jim?
All right, Leslie, only 37% from the floor in the first half for Illinois, but it's a one-point game is all. Michigan 39-38 over the Illini. Brent and Billy are about set for the second half. We'll get you to them after this message and a word from your local stations.
Mazda engineers follow a rather singular line of thinking. One you'll instantly understand and feel when you drive the new RX-7. Because suddenly, driving becomes instinctive. And the RX-7, simply an extension of yourself. So the only line left for you to think about is the one stretching before you.
If you're a business spending over $120 a month in long-distance services, and you think that you're saving 20 to 30% with another carrier, we want you to try AT&T Pro Watts. We'll waive the installation charges, waive the change charges, and if you're not satisfied and agree that we have the best value, price, and quality, at the end of 90 days, we'll pay to put you back on your other long-distance vendor. You can save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance. Call us, 1-800-222-0400.
Hey, we talk about playground legends. You gotta bring up a guy named Lamar Mundane. I seen him just rain jump shots on people. 4, 5, 6 shots in a row. People just started calling me Money. Because when he shot, it was money in the bank. He come down and shoot a 15-footer, everybody on the side be hollering, lay up. Slam dunks are tough. But when a 35-footer come raining out the sky, it'll wire you up.
When the new legends are made, they'll be wearing Reeboks.
Remember how you used to help your dad wash his car? Kind of a shame they didn't have Armor All back in those days. Armor All Protectant for the tires and the dash and the seats. Because we're crazy about cars, too.
This is CBS.
If you'd like to get the Reebok Revenge, size 15, you can go to Foot Locker or Gargantuan Green's Locker. Foot Locker. Where else you gonna go? Foot Locker carries the largest selection of cross-training shoes for whatever your routine. Foot Locker. Where else you gonna go?
The destructive force of a tornado can destroy an entire neighborhood in just seconds. This year, keep ahead of the storm. Watch a series of reports on tornado safety beginning Sunday at 10.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Coors Light. There's no slowing down with the Silver Bullet, the best light beer for a good long time. AT&T, the right choice. And by Mazda, who invite you to test drive the exciting Mazda RX-7 today.
39,187 on hand this afternoon in the Kingdome. I'm Brent Musburger with Billy Packer. Billy, what's the big difference here under Coach Fisher with the Michigan Wolverines?
Basically the same offense, the same players, but I think they're playing with a great deal of confidence, and you can see that composure on the sidelines as we showed in the first half of Steve Fisher, and I think the guys are very comfortable in playing in that system.
Billy, let's take a look at some of the numbers now from the first half. Notice the field goal shooting percentage. Illinois not getting it done. Defense, that's hard work. Rebounds, big difference here. Illinois usually pounds away at the offensive glass. They've had only 5 offensive rebounds for 6 points. At the free throw line, Illinois staying alive, aren't they? They've shot 16 free throws to Michigan's 4. Now let's see how Illinois responds. The leading scorers there, no surprise it's Rice. Battle leading the way for Illinois along with Nick Anderson. Let's see how the Illini respond after a break and an opportunity of the coaching staff to talk to them and explain that this is not the same Michigan team that they remember, that the team they put away that easily is not going to succumb here this afternoon and just roll over and play dead for them.
I agree, and Brent, as far as I'm concerned, Michigan proved that to me in the first 5 or 6 minutes of this ball game. It is a different ball club. I saw it for the first time from my own observation when they played North Carolina. North Carolina made the runs, and they just would not back down.
Now, Ramil Robinson, who's been able to get into that glass several times in the first half. They start Griffin. Vaught is on the inside, one of the big rebounders, and there is Mills, another rebound and an offensive putback for the Wolverines. Now Bardo and Gill along with Anderson. Anderson misfiring. The Illini cannot afford now to get completely out of sync here in this game. The ball was off Gill's foot and out of bounds. It's Michigan's ball.
How about those hands of Terry Mills, not only on the break where we've seen him make some great plays, but on that last rebound.
Of course, Illinois showed 2 great comebacks against Syracuse in that regional final in Minneapolis. Now they're only down 3 points here against Michigan.
And of course, earlier in the year, an incredible comeback against a great Missouri ball club.
Stepped outside. Terry Mills continuing to play well under Fisher's leadership.
And didn't go for Battle's fake.
Now he's talking to Battle, too, on the inside. So Battle brings it in with the jump shot and gets that one to fall.
That's a waste of time to talk to Kenny Battle, because his last name is exactly the way he plays. He's not going to be intimidated by any conversation.
Rice wants it punched in low this time. He'll use the turnaround shot. Off Battle's hand. Tries to run it down. Michigan's ball.
Glenn might have been in a little too close on that one. He'd rather be out there about 22 or 3 feet.
Some of the Big Ten folks will remember the name Rick Mount. That's who Glenn Rice reminds Lou Henson of with that shooting stroke. Mount was a great shooter at Purdue. They get it inside to Mills.
You notice what's happening right now with that set, that offensive set Michigan's using.
Coming through, they couldn't hit it. It would have been spectacular and would have perhaps provided a lift.
Ben, on this offensive set, notice how they're packing everything down inside, so they really get a height mismatch inside. With whether it be Mills or whether it be Vaught or whether it be Rice, they've got a couple inches on the guy guarding them. Griffin's got to take the shot.
They won't. Robinson.
Good ball fake.
Vaught and Mills step outside along with Rice.
Griffin's not being guarded. If he'll just move over, he can get a jump shot.
Robinson. Misfiring, tap back not there. Anderson comes away with the rebound. So what the Michigan coaching staff preached all week, keep Illinois off the glass. Don't give them the rebounding opportunities. Let's see what happens down here at the offensive end now for Illinois. Gill has lost it on the turnover. Robinson comes back on Bardo. Ramil tried to go around. He lost control of the ball. Out of bounds, Illinois.
And Lou Henson says Bardo is the finest defensive backcourt player in the Big Ten, and that showed you an example. If you can stop Ramil Robinson one-on-one in the open court, you have done some job.
Trailing by 5. And not looking sharp on offense.
Mills is standing straight up on defense.
Hamilton tried to get into the scoring column. Anderson thought he was going to shoot. But from underneath, Battle will. 15 for Kenny Battle in this game. They go right to Griffin with Anderson trying to hound him. Lead pass too far in front, but Mills hustles it down.
Puts the ball behind his back.
Now it's Robinson, trapped as he comes down the baseline. Gets it back to Rice, who hits on the drive. Quickly to Battle. Griffin tried to draw the charge. Gill is open for the field goal.
Now, if the referee calls that consistently that way, then it's good refereeing. But there's no question that was an offensive charge out there in the midcourt area.
Michigan up by 3, 47-44. It'll be Vaught. Makes it 49-44.
Third team All Big Ten player who's moved from a role player to a very consistent shooter. Leads the team in field goal shooting percentage.
Henson will try Liberty. Michigan will counter with Higgins. Quick look in pass. And a reach back by Bardo. He commits the personal. Watch the Griffin screen here on Battle.
Well, what's happening? See, nobody's guarding Griffin. And when they don't guard Griffin, he does the wise thing. He sets the screen. one of the best guys to go ahead and screen is the man that's not being guarded, because then there's no switch.
Griffin is out right now, along with Rice. Fisher wanted to talk to Rice. Higgins replaces him at that shooting forward spot, and Caleb moves into the backcourt in place of Griffin. Robinson brings it up into the corner. Vaught is short. Mills with an offensive rebound, and it's Higgins with one. The Wolverines keeping it alive on the glass.
They're just too big down inside for Illinois.
Henson uses a timeout. He's down 7, 15:28 to go.
See you later, baby. We're out of here. Gearing up, getting going. Got the right beer. Gonna hang loose, lighten up, get out of town. The silver bullet won't slow you down. So come on in the Coors Light. It's the right beer now.
A good time is where you find it, and the last thing you want to do is slow it down. So come on into Coors Light, a great light beer for a good long time.
The Honda Lawnmower. It was first with a convenient blade brake clutch, with an automotive-type shaft drive, with an easy-starting overhead valve engine. It's the first mower good enough to be a Honda.
I'd go to college.
Me too.
If I had the money. Yeah.
I'm going to college on the new GI Bill. You serve full-time in the armed forces or part-time in the reserves, and you earn a lot of money for tuition.
The U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Why would Mazda engineers create a 4x4 that's as much at home on city streets as it is on mountain trails? Well, they know things can get a little rough out there, even if the only place you're going is home.
And right now, you can take home $750 cash back on all Mazda trucks.
The showdown for the national title. Auburn battles Tennessee for the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Michigan builds its biggest lead, and the reason why, offensive rebounds. Watch number 24, Higgins, get into position and come right back up. That is 12 offensive rebounds in this game for the Wolverines and only 5 for Illinois. Normally, that statistic is reversed in Illinois' favor.
But what we have are good big men beating good small men today.
Battle missing. Liberty couldn't keep it in play. Michigan's ball.
Good block out by Higgins to make room for Mills to be able to catch that ball.
Rice will check back in. Dead ball opportunity. Robinson doing a fine job of running the floor for the Wolverines. Higgins, 3 is short. And another offensive rebound, and Vaught couldn't get it to fall. Coming off is Bardo. Battle wanted to get moving on it. Bardo kept it himself, misfired. Battle was screened off. No chance for him to get into the glass.
Brett, I think that Michigan getting these offensive rebounds ought to put the ball back outside a little bit now instead of trying to bounce it right back up. They're starting to overpower Illinois, and they take more and more advantage of it.
His jump hook is short, knocked away from Hamilton. It's going to be Michigan's ball. Great steal that time by Battle. He jumped back in and denied a scoring opportunity.
There's an example. What they want a possession of the ball right now. They're getting a little tired.
Here's Hamilton, and he gets himself on the scoreboard here in the second half with 14 minutes to go, and it's 51-46.
Mills is very, very tired right now.
And a reach-in foul against Smith.
It's interesting to see Steve Fisher, how long he's going to leave Mills out there. He's going to take Mills out. It's a very good move because Mills is starting to get tired, not getting up on those boards. So he's been able to rotate Higgins, Hughes, Vaught, and Mills.
Higgins steps out. Liberty with him. Hamilton trying